I just got a message from Evan there. There's a list of the groups going out on track in the order they're meant to be in for the time trials.
A very good evening. Welcome to the Vauxhall Heath Stadium in Ipswich for very first OSCA Ipswich Virtual Speed Weekend of 2020. Very much looking forward to a very special evening. So we put on more formulas than ever before on a very special night, headlined of course by the National Hot Rod E-World Championship, but also featuring Stop Rod World Championship, and also an excellent list of 1300cc stock cars as they race for their European Championship. So we hope that we find you well on this special evening, and an awful lot of work gone in behind the scenes on behalf of the OSCA, and let's hope we can all enjoy the evening. Even if we can't get the real thing at this moment in time, let's hope we get a cracking night of racing. We have 9 events in the calendar this evening, starting off with event 1, the National Hot Rod first group of hot laps. That will be in the normal format at a speed weekend. Each drivers will come out and get 3 laps, 1 warm-up lap and 2 against the clock. That will be our first event. We'll see the other half of those drivers getting their grid positions at event 4. Squeezed in between the opening heats for the stock rods and the 1300cc stock cars. They've got drawn grids already. They'll be reversed over the course of their 2 heats. Stock rods at race 2, 1300cc stock cars at race 3. Then, as I mentioned, we'll get the second batch of national hot rods out for their hot laps. Then we'll have Stop Rod Heat 2, 1300cc Stock Car Heat 2 at event 6. And then the last 3 events, the 3 features on the programme. Event 7, the National Hot Rod World Championship, the Stop Rod World Championship at event 8. And to finish things off, the 1300cc Stock Car European Championship. So that's how things will look at the Vauxhall Stadium. So very shortly we will have the first 10 cars out to get their qualification places sorted, and amongst that first batch of cars will be Jason Q, who will be up first. Of course, all the drivers featuring in the National Hot Rods tonight, and indeed all the classes, have experience of some sort in those particular formulas. Jason Q, as I say, will set things off in that first group. Also amongst that first group will be Steve Armick, Carl Sloan, Jordan Larson, Dan Smith, Jeff Reardon, Gavin Murray, Roy Anderson, Damien Mulvey, and finishing off Simon Kennedy. That will be our first group. Plenty of other big names racing in the National Hot Rods this evening. Spies tell me that in practice last night, amongst the quickest, David Casey in 261 and Derek Martin, current top dog Carl Waller-Barrett as well in 162. Those 3 could be those to watch when we get the hot laps underway. So as I say, it will be Jason Q that will be up first and taking us through the first hot lap session at the Vauxhall Stadium. So just keeping an eye on the track as the first of the hot laps will get underway. 9 events to enjoy, as I say. Event 1 for the National Hot Rods is just a few seconds away, time for 7:30, and we've reached that time. So it'll be Jason Q will join us hopefully on the raceway to get things underway. Okay, we're all ready to go. Jason, of course, much experience of Vauxhall over many years. Best in Britain champion, European champion as well in his time. And he is about to take to the Vauxhall stage. Currently second in the English points in this year's qualification. He is out about to take his first hot lap, 2 against the clock then. Hopefully we should get details up on screen at the time Jason is netting. And now on viewing Carr as he makes his way around the Ken Camps Bend at Ipswich, the home straight. Curb cameras getting the action. And Jason pulling in. $14.63. Looks to be the best time there for QE. Now next out, Steve Armit, the Scotsman, in car 94, I believe. He's set to join us on the raceway. And just confirmation, 14.063 was the best time for Jason Q. So that's going to set the standard. So the Scotsman away, Steve Armit in 94. Clear colours as he makes his way round and up the home straight. .063 have been a competitive time in the lap times at the stadium last year for the World Final. Be interesting to see what standard that is as we get through its competitors. Past the start-finish line he goes and round the scoreboard bend. The far side he pulls up, so we'll wait to see his time. 14.063 to beat. 14.624. 14.624. So a little off the pace set in the early stages by QE. Right, due out next is the Ballymena driver Carl Sloan in 75. Our cameras try and pick up 75 machine. The world champions on show this evening and some class acts. But the real thing, getting their go in the virtual world this evening. Graphics of the stadium pretty spot on, must say. Right, this is Jordan Larson, who's gone ahead of Carl Sloan, incidentally. The South African driver having his spin around. And he has clocked 14.067. 14.067. So just outside Q. And that was Jordan, the South African driver, in car 112. Right, looks like Dan Smith is out on the track next. Can't miss Dan. There he is in 565. He was looking trim when I saw him the other day via social media. Rod, world champion in the 2-litre hot rods, who's flirted with national hot rods in his time, makes his way out onto the circuit. Quality driver who's raced for many years on the ovals. Father, of course, raced stock rods for many a moon. And knows the Vauxhall Raceway so very, very well. So he's out on his laps. And over the curb, but briefly there was Dan. And pulls to the infield. And 14.216 was the best time for Dan. So off the pace set by Jordan and Cui so far. Now may well be Gavin Murray that's going to be next. No, we'll just get on board with the right driver here. Like Chris Crane could be the man. Right, Gavin Murray is the driver who's out this time. So we were right with our first estimation. Number 95, and Gavin, of course, local man to Vauxhall, knows the track very well. 14.283. 14.283 is at the time for Gavin. Again, just behind the pace set by Jordan Larson and Jason Q so far. Speedworth pace car was going to go next there for a moment, but the Speedway been interesting to see in comparison. So if you are just joining us, this is the first session of hot laps underway. Each driver with 3 laps, of course, as is the norm. Doing their hot laps as we speak. And this is the Scotsman Roy Anderson, who's just finishing off his lap times, driver number 36. His best time, 14.944, so 14.944, not troubling the pace setters so far. Right, could well be Damien Mulvey that's due next. Should be quite easy to pick out him with his pink machine in car 51. And there he is. onto the raceway to set his hot laps. If you are just joining us, Jason Q went first in 174, set 14.063. Jordan Larson in 112 was a 14.067, so just off of the pace set. Englishman. Making his way round the speed weekends for the last year or so. He makes his way onto the pulling area on the back straights. And 13.982, the quickest significantly so far. Well, it looks like Simon Kennedy is next in 998s. Should be on track. Down the far side of the Vauxhall Bowl. Simon appeared back at Ipswich Speed Weekend in 2015. Also appeared at a few national weekends. Northern Ireland racer. His trip round the Vauxhall Bowl. So 13.982 is the new quickest to beat, set in the previous instalment by Damien Mulvey. Simon goes down the back straight then. 998 car. The infield. So we'll wait to see what he set. 14.015. So again, pretty good. But not that to match Mulvey. Right, that may well be our first group done and dusted. Just wait on confirmation of that. Event 4 will also be the hot laps. Squeeze between those. Our first two races of the programme. Race number 2, or event number 2 coming up will be for the stock rods in a few moments' time, followed by the 1300cc first heat. That'll be followed by hot laps part 2, a stock rod heat, 1300cc stock car heat, and then we'll be on to the 3 major championships: the National Hot Rod E-World Championship at Event 7, Stock Rod World Championship at Event 8, and the Stock Car European Championship at Event 9. Just waiting for confirmation that that will be it for part 1. Mulvey 13.982, comfortably the quickest, and the driver to break the 14-second barrier. So we'll see the rest of them at event number 4 on the programme. So next up will be the first live race that will come from the stock rods. As we mentioned, they have, like the stock cars, had pre-drawn grid races, reversed gridded their 2 heats. Attempt to qualify their grid positions for their feature finals later on, and high quality lineups in both. Decent Irish entry in the stock rods, who of course have dominated things for the last year or two, so maybe the case in the e-virtual world as well. And of course we've got 1300cc stock cars with an excellent mix as well. So that will be coming up in a few moments. To take you through the next couple of races will be a familiar voice of Ben Singleton, who will take you through the stock rods first, followed by the 1300cc stock cars. All that coming up in the next few moments.
Yes, so next we're going to get to the first heat of the day for our stock rods out there on track. So we'll get the randomly drawn grid up on the screen soon, but I have the grid in front of me here for race number 1 of the evening for the stock rods. Well, I did anyway. I'll find out again later, but I believe it's Matthew Draza on pole position for this first race of the night for the stock rods. So it's not, in fact, it's George Baker, sorry, number 216 out there on pole for this one. Now, He was relatively quick at Buxton in our regular OSCA 30 stock rods, earlier in the week on Monday night. But we'll see if he can do the same performance again this evening. But just waiting to get an image back up on the screen for myself here, and we'll be underway very shortly with this first race of the night here at Vauxhall. Now, I think favourites here in the stock rods this evening could be Niall McFerrin, number 10, not 910 as he often is racing on the regular OSCA circles in the stock rods. Now, I'm being told it will be a 16-lap race with a rolling start. Rolling start might be a little bit ambitious, but we'll find out anyway. We'll have a pace car on the circuit for that one, I believe. But yes, it will be George Baker who will be on pole position for this race. Alongside him with the 928 car of James Morris, but I can say there are a few additions to your stock rod list this evening. 263 Dee McGill, 363 Lee McGill, and the 842 of Daniel Davidson. They're three additions that aren't on your issued programme in this one. Now, so that's just one note you do need to take note of if you are keeping a track of things tonight. We'll get the first stock rod race on track very shortly, and the 25 of Sean Martin will be racing under Derek Martin's name in this one. So if you see the name of a player acting a bit funny for that car, that is the reason why. Just waiting the all clear, of course, from our admin team and race control to get these stock rods out on track. And unlike what was originally planned a few days ago, the stock rods will run an all-in format rather than the original idea of splitting them into Group A and Group B. Obviously, as we've had a few removals from the list of the stock rods in the past few days. But certainly looking good for this one then. The stock rods the World Champion tonight. Of course, that's coming up later in the programme. Number 8 on your programme this evening, towards the end of the programme tonight here at Vauxhall. But just awaiting the last few cars to join us. But I'll just give you the full rundown of the grid then. So row 1 will be 9 to 8 of James Morris, alongside him 216 of George Baker. Row 2 922 of Curtis Greer. Number 46 of Gary Lusher. Again, he was showing relatively good pace at Birmingham a few weeks ago in our regular stock rod class. Then we've got the 944 of Derek McMillan. 917 of Rick Purdy. 258 out there as well, that's Dan Shannon. 718 of Darren Cardy. 23 of Mark Murrell. 61 of Barry Casey. He's been racing regularly in our Hot Rod series that runs on a Monday night. Unfortunately, accident at Skegness, playing to the centre green quite hard. 911 Carl McFall, regular racer in the OSCA stock rods. Came very close to winning the English Championship, only to hit the rumble strips and go flying through the air. Number 27 of Gary Dean. 549 out there as well, that's Aaron Neal. Of course, raced one of our admins, Austin Neal, we believe. Number 25 of Siobhan Martin, again racing under Derek Martin's name for this one. 909 of Adam Weir. 176 of Gary Nichols. So further back in the pack there. Number 10, Niall McFerrin, which I think is one of the favourites tonight. If he can get a good start, like I say, he'll be a bit further up the grid in the 6th position for race number 2 this evening for the stock rod, so he could find his way through. Alongside him is the 997 of Matthew Milliken. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that name. That's not a particularly good one on my part. 453 Carl Rhodes. Number 12 of Christopher Cardwell. 65 Matthew Drysdale, like we say, at the back. And then 248, if I get on my list here, is David Gritchen. So, again, Matthew Drysdale is another one that's relatively quick in the OSCA stock rods on a regular basis. Unfortunately, a bit of a coming together with a certain head admin. Well, a certain league owner at Buxton on Monday night, but hopefully that won't happen again today as he's not racing. So the last few cars, we're just getting the last few cars out for practice. And we'll get a grid line up for you very shortly. Just need to get all the cars sorted out. I get them in their rightful grid positions on the track for this first race of the night for the stock rods. But as I've already said, it will be a 16-lap race with a rolling start. Same will go for the third and stock cars we'll see out in the next race on the programme this evening. So like I say, the stock rods won our support for them tonight realistically, but still I'm sure some great racing we had from them nonetheless. Racing the all clear. Not quite sure who's gone fastest yet today in the stock rods, so I haven't really had a chance to see the timing screens. We just had Dean McGill during the service, so that's one of our late entrants, of course, one of the Irish drivers. Across the water now. Like has been said before, that some of the Irish guys have really been putting the pressure on the English and Scottish competitors in the stock rods in recent years. Of course, if you are regular at Ipswich and you don't recognise lots of the names in the stock rods tonight, that's because we have a mix of the ORCI and Speedwith stock rods, just to make a few more numbers. Of course, it wouldn't be quite as big as if we only allowed one of the governing bodies in at once. So I think we're just getting the final few preparations done down here on the track, ready to go rolling with our first stock rod event of the day. I say stock rods are a non-contact formula for basic hatchbacks, roughly 300cc, so and similar sort of cars and engines to the 300 stock cars, just without the armoured bumpers, and built on more of a space frame chassis than they are on an actual car body. Just taking a while to get things prepared for this race. Maybe I'll just rejoin the server again, so he might be having some connection issues. That might be the reason why we're running a little bit. Might be the reason why I've had to wait a few moments to get this race underway. Just currently watching practice. A fair few quick times been set today in the stock rods. Now, the stock rods are anticipated to be a slightly easier playing field for some of the drivers tonight, as unlike the hot rods, they're a bit more planted, and obviously they're front wheel drive as well. I do apologise for any miscues tonight. Like I say, I'm not entirely familiar with some of the drivers in the stock rod field, but we'll see what happens on this one. There you go. Okay, that's the call then for the grid there. You could just hear in the background if you are. I don't know if the stream could hear that or not, but there was just the call there for all non-essential personnel to leave the grid. Now that's the signification in our factor that the race has been started. There'll be 30 seconds of the cars waiting static on the grid, then they'll be called round to, I would assume, turns 1 and 2, and then they'll be called into their respective grid positions by one of the admin, who will then grid them up on the track, make sure we're okay, then go for a rolling start, and then it should be 60 laps of racing for our stock rodders today. Stock rods on the slightly more basic forms on the ovals, but by no means probably the cheapest. Just getting the cars around there. Right, so there's one admin's Lewis Wallace making his way around there in one of the pace cars. So we'll just get the pace cars round out of the way first, then we'll get them rolling. So Dean McGill is going to lead them round to the grid positions there. And for forward, Derek McMillan there. So one car I missed on the grid line up there, I'm afraid. There's number 10, Niall McFerrin. He is there was Niall McFerrin going past my camera position anyway. He's one of the ones to look out for in this race. He's a bit further down the grid than he perhaps maybe would like to be, but we saw in the regular domestic, our regular online series for these cars at Buxton on Monday nights, that he managed to win 2 races from Superstar grade. So I don't think scything through this field will be too much of a problem for him. But you never know. Anything can happen in stock rods, and it usually does. We'll get the cars called around then. So I did go through the grid earlier, but I'm sure I can reinforce that. So when the cars grid up down here on the main straight. I say I'm not making predictions for this one, because every time I make predictions for anybody in online oval racing, they often end up having a pretty miserable night of it. We've done it several times to some of the regular members on the OSCA, it must be said, mainly in to Sloan stock cars, but still, the theory is still there. Anyway, not quite sure what the delay is. There we go. Right then, we've got the cars heading round to the grid there. I believe that car heading round now should be our pole sitter, number 928 of James Morris, to be confused with the Brisker Formula 1 racer of the same name, number 463. He should be on the inside of the grid for this one, because with the stock rods, the grid lineup will show the inside on the right-hand side of the screen rather than the left-hand side of the screen. So it's not quite as easy to run sometimes when you got people that aren't quite as experienced with R-Factor as the regular drivers. I don't know if George Baker's a no-show or not, because he's not out there on the grid for this one. Does appear to be a slight change to the grid there, as we've got 216 not in the position there. I don't know whether he's not turned up today, but that is something that's happened, obviously, that I wasn't aware of. Now, one thing that wasn't brought up earlier on in the National Hot Rods is that 75 Carl Sloan has booked out last minute, so he's not going to be appearing in the National Hot Rods today. Something that wasn't picked up earlier on, so I'll just inform you of that now, as the stock rods get themselves round. We've got Greener in there as well. He's up there in third, and that's Carl Greener, number 922. Outside row 2 there as well. Can't see the number on that car from this angle. So I'm not entirely familiar with some of the skins. That's Gary Lush, number 46. Then we've got the 944 of Derek McMillan out there on the inside of row 3. He's starting 5th position. So I think what's happened here is that because we've got a few no-shows, the field has been brought up positions just to fill the gaps on the grid on this one. So coming back through then, another car lining up there. That's who's that? It's Dan Shannon lining up there on the outside of row number 3. I've just been given the information that Carl Sloan's booked back in, so there you go. That's just making it a bit more complicated, as it already was. Still got a fair few more cars to get round to the grid here, so obviously the published timing sheets did have this race scheduled for 7:40, but unfortunately the hot rod time trials overrun slightly on this one. I've also just seen what one of my previous fellow admins, Aaron Tress, has put in the chat on the YouTube stream. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be been thrown around for the next few days. There's Colt McFarlane 911 making a very sideways arrival in his Vauxhall Nova there. Quite a spectacular as what he did on the last bend of the English Championship at Birmingham. As I've already said, he hit the inner rumble strip trying to go for the lead on the final bend of the race, and unfortunately ended up rolling the car. Of course, that race went to Kane Pond, and 129 will be out later on in the programme in our 13 stock cars this evening. They're on track next. So there's always a big thank you to the admins here at the OSCA. Of course, without them, we wouldn't be able to go racing like we are today. Obviously, not quite the situation I don't think a lot of people would want to be in. I don't think people were really wanting to see this event taking place regularly, but it's the best we can do in the situation we have, of course. Personally, I would have been down at Sheffield today for the return of Unlimited Bangers there, but that meeting unfortunately not be able to take place, as with all motor racing and sporting events in the country at the moment. So the field is it looks like it's been split into the groups of 6, which is what would usually happen in stock cars. That's just to alleviate some of that first corner carnage that can come from having a very bunched up grid of stock rods, of course. Here at the OSCA, we know that to our expense on a few occasions, where a few big races have gone a bit wrong through that. I think that's Group 3 lined up. I think we've got a fourth and final group at the back of the grid. Now, of course, there are a couple of no-shows today, and I'll try and get those for you a little bit later on. Definitely know that Stuart Smythe 447, I don't think he's here today. This will be interesting to see what happens here then. So, like I said, it'll be the 98 car of James Morris who leads them off. And there we go, last few cars falling into line then. Then we'll go for a rolling start for our stock rods. I don't think there's rolling lap music tonight, for copyright reasons obviously on YouTube. We'd get the stream taken down for it, but pace car pulls into position then. It's time to go rolling with our first stock road event of the afternoon. Here we go then. Let's get ready to rumble then. Race 1 of the day gets underway then. Here we go then. I might be able to get some of the cars when they go past me as well, so I can try and identify who's who. Car number 718. Right up, I was expecting here. Colin McFord and 911 in there as well. Adam Weir alongside that's Siobhan Martin, obviously racing in Dave Martin's name tonight in the stock rods, obviously this evening. So down the back straight they go then on the rolling start. The pace car will hopefully pull off and not get rear-ended. It's off onto the speedway track already then. Right, here we go then. So racing, race number 1 in the evening, green flag flies, and away we go, 16 laps of racing for the stock rods, and James Rice gets the jump there, coming down the home straight. Green gets cut across the nose off down there as they head towards turns 1 and 2. Cole McFall trying to find his way through the field again. He's another very experienced driver of the R-Factor circle, so he should be in good contention here for a race win this evening. Morris has got the lead, got a car on the wall, turn 4. Gary Lusher's got number 46, he's hit the wall flat out at turn 4, so that's the first victim of the barriers tonight here at the Vauxhall Stadium. Somebody else locking up massively at someone. You can see the cars tripoding their way around the circuit on this one. And Lusher's been able to rejoin. But Morris still leads it then. The vehicle come flying through then. A bit of a nudge there as somebody got very solid in front of us. Matthew Giles, number 65 in that battle as well. Behind him, got a tangle of cars spinning everywhere. Someone on the speedway track there, someone doing some shale racing for once. And challenge for the lead here as James Morris has been put under pressure now from one of the novice cars. Unfortunately, as the name of the players disappeared, I can't quite identify a few of the cars. They got car flying to the centre green then. That was that going to the centre green there. The Maestro rejoin, whoever it was, just going out of the corner eye there. It was a side-by-side battle for the lead. I think Morris could be about to lose his lead here as they make their way to someone. Cole McFaul, the number 1, he's flying to the field now. He's up to 6th place already in this one for the stock rods, and Gary Lusher at the back of the mountain number 46 after he spun on the opening lap. Unfortunately, he hit the barrier quite hard, so his race was a little bit scuppered from the word go pretty much on this one. And down the back straight go your leaders side by side, and Morris has taken the lead back on the inside, and these three a great scrap for the front of the grid. Just getting themselves circulated round that. Where is some of the bigger names rising to the occasion? Gary Lusher's spin again. He's gone round for a second time tonight on turn 4. Clearly not his night. Hopefully he'll have better fortunes in the later races, of course, this evening here with the stock rods. 3 wide a bit there as Noel McFone was just in front of a couple there as they met down the home straight into turns 1 and 2. And Colin McFord managed to barge his way past a couple of people on the back straight there. He's now going to get taken back down the inside. That was by the 944 car of Derek McMillan. He went down the inside there to good effect going into turn 1. Got more cars fighting behind there. Matthew Drysdale getting a big car down the inside as Lusher gets out wide again. He's obviously not quite got the car working as well as he would have liked tonight, but I'm sure, I think that first collision earlier on with the barrier probably has some contact with another car involved. It is stock rods after all, so contact does happen as 997 Matthew Milken really putting the 65 drives. Then especially got a spinner at turn 4. Good recovery. Must be said there's a bit of a nudge there. And Lusher's in the wall again. Through goes the rest of the field on the inside. So yeah, a little bit of argy-bargy in this one for stock rods. More cars getting bounced around. This time it's Matthew Mickelin in the 997 car hitting the home straight fence in front of race control. The lead battlers come alive now. Got another tangle at turn 4 there. Just saw out the corner of my eye. Someone went spinning into the infield tyres there. Who is that? Won the courses, but they managed to recover it. I'll just try and get the number on the way past. I think that might have been the 917 of Rick Purdy that went round down there on the bottom bend. It's a bit hard to see some of the numbers on these cars. The Mickelin's managed to find his way past another one down here in front of us. But I believe your race leader, just going round turns 3 and 4 next. The blue, white and orange car. Try and get the number as it comes past the pit gates here, where the camera is positioned for me. So I'm not quite sure the positions at the moment as the names of the players have come back, which is very helpful for me now, so I can actually see some of the numbers on the cars again now. Coming round then, I don't think it's Barry Casey, it's Greener, sorry, that's your race leader. So it's Curtis Greener, number 922, the race leader still in this one for the stock rods. Doesn't feel like 16 laps this race, this feels like a much longer race than it is. Oh, what a rollover! Got the first rollover of the night. Who's that? Big accident down there. That's a very big crash indeed. There, that was Gary Dean, number 27, hit the tyre there and went for an almighty rollover on turn 4 there. He's managed to rejoin there, but he gets the award for first rollover of the night. Barry Casey's now got our race leader of Curtis Greener behind him. Barry Lush has recovered from his early spin, but the checkered flag has gone down on the raceway now. Got a few cars making their way back to the pits, and unless I'm very mistaken, just how I saw them across the line, but I think it was Curtis Greer, your race winner, the Northern Irishman, number 922. He was further up the grid. So we'll get the results up on the screen for you in just a few minutes' time, and then we'll try and confirm a full rundown of results for that one for the stock rods. Yes, indeed, it was Curtis Greer, your race winner, number 922, from Mark Morrell, second, number 923. Carl McFall was third, number 911. Then we've got 928 up there as well of James Morris. He's up there in fourth. Now McFerrin was fifth. Then we've got Dan Shannon in the 258. 944 of Derek McMillan. 842 down there as well on the track on my list there, so I apologise on that one, but that was the first seat for the stock rods. Hopefully I'll get a full grid. Hopefully I'll get a good look at the results on the stream here just whilst we get things sorted out. Okay, there we go. Yes, I've got the results up on my screen now. So Curtis Greer, number 922, your race winner. Second, Mark Morrell, number 923. Then it's Carl McFall, 911. James Morris, 928. Now McFerrin, number 10. Then we've got sixth place, Dan Shannon, number 258. Then we've got 944 of Derek McMillan up there in seventh. Eighth is the 842 of Daniel Davidson. He was a late entry in your programme. Adam Weir, number 909, is ninth. And then Gary Nichols, number 176, is 10th. So once again, just numbers for you. 922, 923, 911, 928, 10, 258, 944, 842, 909 and 176. So that's the stock rods done with for their first race of the evening. We'll get the second race of the night on track now. This will be heat 1 for the 1300 stock cars. Then we'll be heading back over to the National Hot Rods for their second part of their evening. That's their second half of the time trial, here at Vauxhall. I'm just waiting for 1300 stock cars to get themselves up here on the raceway. Ooh. So, favourites in this one then? Well, there's a few out there that definitely will be in good contention, I think. Certainly number 146, Jack Aylwood, regular racer on R Factor, of course. He's usually very quick indeed. So we've got Narmak throwing back out again. He's racing two formulas tonight, it must be said. He's racing both stock cars and the 1300 stock cars this evening. Certainly, I think probably Tommy Aylwood as well, number 51. He's also very quick on R Factor as well. Triple One, I think, is the other. Sorry, yes, Triple One of Josh Wells. So we're just getting the cars advanced to the session then. Like I say, once again, this will be 16 laps for the 1300cc saloon stock cars. Interesting to see how some of the regular 1300 stock car drivers get on today. Obviously, we've got Ian Bowman, number 713 out there, very successful driver in 1300 stock cars, reigning world champion, number 23 Lee Pearce booked in as well. Not sure if he's here or not today, but yes, I think he is booked in. He's yes, he's on my list here. In partner 129, if he's also booked in, will be. He's also here. He'll be very quick as well. He's been showing great pace, of course, throughout the season on OSCA itself. So I'm just being told we're waiting for one more car to join us this evening. Then we've got 517 Ben Sanders, the ex-junior banger racer out there as well. He's done a fair bit of racing on R Factor in the past few years. So just waiting for one car to join us in the server. That's the Zach Glimmer car, number 122. He was booked in for quite a while, and there we go. Right, we're on to the next session then. The grid is about to be called up then, and this will be 60 laps for the 300 stock cars, and hopefully the name of the player stays on the cars this time, so I can just about see some of the numbers. Because from a distance, it's a bit hard to read some of the numbers on these cars. I'm afraid to say that we've just had a problem with the live stream here, so I don't know whether we'll be seeing this race or not at the moment, but we have the grid lineup obviously for the 1300 stock cars. Done this on the live stream or not? So 1300 stock cars, heat one then. So pole position will be Ian Bowman, number 713. He's alongside Josh Wells, number 111, on his outside of row 1. Row 2, 55 of Ricky Ivett, and 788. In fourth place is Connor Hollingsworth. Row number 3, 146 Jack Aylwood. He'll do well for there, I can tell you that. And 303 of Jacob Bromley. And we have next on track 307 of Connor Mason. He's going to be on the inside of row 4. On the outside, he's number 711 Clark Wells. 167 will be on the inside of row number 5. That will be Jimmy Morris. And on his outside will be the 418 car of Luke Barham. But unfortunately, we just had to restart the walk here, so there'll be a slight delay to the start of this race for the 1300s. We've got 1, 2, 3. Row 6 will be 129 Kane Parr on the inside. He's outside Zach Glimmer, number 122. So two regular R Factor races in there. That's going to be interesting to see. Peter Greer on the inside of row 7 in number 921. He's on his outside with the 415 car, of Jamie Blackman. 8 to be 515 of Josh McKinstry on the inside, and on the outside number 22, which is a car not on my list unfortunately. So I'll try and get a name for that as the night goes on. Then we have inside of the next row number 9 will be 161 Billy Smith. On his outside, number 23, the reigning world champion Lee Pearce. Row number 10 is Tommy Aylwood, number 51 on the inside. Outside, 517 Ben Sanders. We've got inside of row number 11, number 10 of Niall McFerrin. On the outside, 302 of Jack Smith. And row number 12 will be with the 104 of Paul Brown. On the outside will be 137 of Curtis Tebenham. And then at the back of the grid on the final row, row number 13, will be number 319 of Charlie Mail and 46 of Paul Aylward. That'll be the line then for third and start car. Of course, that grid will be reversed for heat number 2, and that will obviously see back of the grid obviously being at the front, so we'll have, I believe, Paul Aylward starting on pole position for the next race. There's we've got Zach Glimmer obviously out there, European champion in the third and start cars currently. Trying to work on something behind the scenes here, so I can actually tell the top 5 of the race, as I had a bit of a difficulty doing that in race number 1 this evening here at Vauxhall. So I do apologise if if it isn't the easiest for you to follow this evening. Obviously, there's only so many pictures I can see, as well as the live stream, obviously. So we're just waiting for one more car to join us on track for this one. Then that'll be number 10. Sorry, Niall McFerrin, who is, like I say, doubling up between 13 stock cars and stock cars tonight. He is starting a bit further down the grid in this one. He's down there towards the back of it on row 11. He's row 11 tonight. Right, so we've got all the all clear now then for the field to grid up then. A bit of a delay, but we're ready to go now then with stock cars heat 1 at Vauxhall tonight. Okay, they've now just been instructed to make their way to turns 1 and 2. As soon as that is done, we'll get the cars called round to their grid positions, which, like I say, just called through just whilst we're getting the race prepared to go. So the I mean, right then. Right, okay then. Row 1 being called round. Then Ian Beaumont and Josh Wells. Those two will be the 2 cars leading off the pack this evening. Obviously, with Ian Beaumont on pole position on the inside of that row. The tyre marks have been put down the track in this one already. Obviously, there must have been a bit of carnage in practice I didn't see. D5 of Ricky Ivett and the 788 of Connor Hollingsworth making their way round as well for row number 3. For row number 2, 146 Jack Owood and the 303 Jacob Bromley. (711) Clark Wells and 307 of Connor Mason out there as well. So those two should be the way around. Sorry, I should have said the other way around. My apologies on that one, but they're going to make up row 4. So just looking at some of the chat on the live stream, of course, good to see a few people watching from a bit further afield than just the coast. They've got a couple of South Africans watching, of course, today. So they've got some of the South African drivers out there in the National Hot Rods tonight. That will be the reason why. Because, of course, the Hot Rods do have a Hot Rods on Tour meeting every year at in South Africa. Sorry, can't quite remember the track now, but they do have some form of hot rods out in South Africa. I'm sure one of our South African viewers will probably tell me as the night goes on. So just missed a couple of cars getting gridded up there whilst I was checking something. 73 is another not on my list, unfortunately, but we do have Dewey Morris in there as well. 129 Kane Parnell and 122, of course, Zach Glimmer. 515, not Frank Oman Jr., but Joshua McKinstry. And 422 of Martin Taylor. There's a 515 in every single formula in stock car racing. The Wayman family really do have something to really have something to answer to. Really, 161 of Billy Smith, 23 Lee Pearce, 51 Tommy Aylward, 117 Ben Sanders, number 10 Niall McFerrin, 302 Jack Smith, 535 of Connor Sheldrake. That's one that wasn't on my published list actually, which is helpful to know there's a name there for that one. 137 is Curtis Tebbenham, 319 of Charlie Mayle, and 46 of Paul Aylward. So just telling some of the drivers round to the back of the grid, if their number wasn't called out, that might mean they were late bookings or something along those lines. It does happen occasionally in stock cars. So here we go then, right, that begins then for Phone Stock Cars Heat number 1 then. Yeah, then let's get them qualifying for their European title a little bit later on in the evening. So the wheel spinning starts on the rolling start there, big cloud of smoke, hopefully that clears before the race gets started. So pace car pulls up on the far side then. Ian Bowman will lead them around to the green flag, and we go green. We are now racing. Version of CC Saloon Stock Cars, heat number 1, sorry, and down towards turns 1 and 2, side by side to the first corner. Big push there, and that's going to be the first couple in the wall there, yep. So I managed to get a few cars over the rumble, a few cars over the infield there. One of them was Lee Pearce, number 23, the world champion, going in over the speedway track there, just being kicked up there. Got another car size, Josh Wells, and the Vauxhall Nova goes sideways. Leaves me Ian Bowman, number 713, racing a few cars. The Nifty Adventure to track limits there. Zach Glimmer won them in number 122 at turn 1 there. Spin round goes Jack Smith, number 302. He's spun at turn 1. Got assisted round. Charlie Mayle has hit problems as well. Further back in the pack, he's gone round. Bowman is your leader, but not for much longer. Josh Wells comes flying down the inside as they come round to complete lap number 2. Chiavit up there in 4th place, already number 55. Pearce, number 23, gets himself planted well in the back there. That might have been of Aylward, sorry, there in number 146. Into the field then, and still got this lead battle going on. Josh Wells and Ian Bowman fighting massively here for the race lead. Bumpers going again on the scoreboard turn. Charlie Mayle at the back. That's a problem. I've just lost connection to the live stream, so unfortunately I can't actually see what's happening at the moment. But so there he gets back again now. But Josh Wells with 111 is still your leader. Then he's leading by 0.8 of a second now. He's managed to pull a gap away now from Ian Bowman. Kane Parnell is up to 3rd place. He's made his way up the field nicely, like we predicted he very much would do this race for the 300 stock cars. And the lead is just extending out now, 1.5 seconds away from Ian Bowman from Josh Wells. Now got Spinner down there on turn 2. They managed to get going again, and Bowman's on the spin, and Bowman's pulled off. Bowman has problems there. He's dropping down the field like a stone. I think Bowman's retired from the race. That's graduated everybody up a position after the leader, of course, as Bowman went out. They got, that was a bit close there. Someone went into the wall hard at turn 1. That might have been Jack Aylward, number 146, who went in there. And Bowman's managed to rejoin me. He's a long way down the field now. In fact, he's not even in the top 13 cars anymore on my timing screen. Josh Wells still your leader, though. He'll be heading towards lap down traffic very shortly, I imagine. He's somewhere on the track. I've lost track of him now, but there you go. He's coming to lap Billy Smith, number 161, who's going to be lapped very shortly. Got Colin Hollingsworth, number 788, coming through as well. He's taking place now. He's ready to take Curtis Tebbenham and Kane Parnell there, but Parnell's got his foot down and got back round the outside and takes over from Conor Hines with car speed to the centre green. Now that was Paul Aylward, I think, number 51. Sorry, no, it was Charlie Mail rather, making his way towards the centre green. He took out one of our tractors. There's a 303 Jacob Bromley rejoins after an off-track excursion as well. He's had a bit of a tour of the infield here at Vauxhall. So coming into the closing laps now, we're just past the halfway stage of this Legend Stock Car Heat 1. We're in the second half of this event. We're in the second half of this event now. And Smith plants. I think that was the 124 of Andrew Mathelson there. Went straight across the centre green and put him straight in front of the scoreboard. It's the leaders now extended for Josh Wells. He's up to 6 seconds out in front now of Kane Parnham, 129, who's next in line in second. Inadvertently, so he's almost a second clear of Conor Hinesworth. And Jack Aylward has spun round in front of us. That's a rare mistake for Jack. He's managed to find control again. He's managed to rejoin the car, and he's got going in. The lead across the timing line again, then waiting for the next car to cross the timing. That's Kane Parnell still. He's a bit further back. Lee Pearce in the thick of it in this one. He's not had it all his own way for this one. Lee Josh McKinch is leading Northern Irish. Oh, big crash up there. Lee Pearce in the air, big time. He's got planted heavily by somebody there. I didn't see who it was that put him away though. I think it was Josh McKinch, number 515. Just as I was saying what was happening with Josh McKinch, he put someone away quite hard. Clark Wells, 711. Regular pilot of the Honda Del Sol in 30 stock cars there. He's managed to get himself caught out there as well. But coming round then, the leader is somewhere. I've lost him again. There you go. The leader is just coming out of turn 4, I believe. That's the other Wells car, sorry. There you go. Josh Wells coming round to start his final lap now then. So looks like we're going to have a pretty dominant win in this first race today for the 300 stock cars. And down the back straight for the final time into the final corner. Got cars spinning everywhere on the final corner. One leads Ricky Arbit, number 55. But the checkered flag is going to go down, and Josh Wells wins the first 300 stock car race of the night. Second, I think, is going to be Kane Parnell, unless Curtis Evans found a way through. Tevin has found a way through, I believe. But 129 a second, 137, 788, 515, 167, 146, NI 921, 510, sorry, 51 rather, and 711 is the top 10 as across the line. Got the timing screen up as well. It wasn't, to be fair, that was a pretty lively affair from the 300 stock cars this evening here at Vauxhall. We'll get the second race of them out a little bit later on. That'll be after the second outing for the hot rods and the stock rods. And we'll get the hot rods out on track next. They will be for their second half of their time trials. Hand you back over to Graham for that one.
Thanks very much, Ben. Yes, second group of national hot rods to make their way out for their hot laps. On track very shortly. If you missed the first batch earlier on, car number 51 put in the best time. Damien clocked 13.982. Simon Kennedy with a 14.015, but still plenty of big guns to come in the second batch of these national hot rods, including Carl Waller-Barrett, Adam Maxwell, and David Casey, to name but a few. Still several drivers to have their hot laps. So 2 races under our belts, running a little bit behind time, but what meeting doesn't, let's be honest. Stock rods up next, event 5. Event 6 will be stock cars, then the 3 big races, the National Hot Rod Virtual World Championship, race 8, Stock Rod World Final, and race 9, Stock Car European Championship to finish things off on this Sunday evening. Now, still several drivers to come. We had a couple of drivers who missed out. Carl Sloan, who disappeared for a short while, but I understand is back in and will take his hot laps in this group. Remember, the time to beat 13.982 for pole position. Right, there's Carl Waller-Barrett on the centre. view above the grandstand on the home straight. Slightly better view of the action. To take his hot laps. One of the gentlemen of the raceway, shall we say. Now, I can promise you, if the gantry on the top of the roof at Foxhall on the home straight looked like that, nice. It's metal work, not seen. It's Phil McCloy, who's nominated, just viewing his car. Right, back in. So it looks like Philip McCloy is going to be the first of this second batch to go. So on board with him, and he'll make his way out onto the Foxhall Bowl. Just one driver to break 14 seconds in that first batch was Mulvey. So the Ballymena driver in 3:43 was out. Give us a better view as he comes around the Kencams bend and up the home straight. Not convinced that is Phil after all. May just be testing things here before we let the next of our drivers go. John Sibold there is also ready to go in 6:29. And John is now on track. So John has raced a couple of times in the National Opera classes down the years. About a decade ago, and now back in. Third in the Scottish points when racing was stopped. He flying around the Foxhall Bowl at this moment in time. A track where he's raced many Speed Weekend support races down the years, and in the World Final before. Right, so we did have Ross go out in the first one. It was the 330 car that went out first at time. He got 14.434, so a lot slower. That was the former mini stock driver in 330. John has just completed his time, 14.677. Fortunately, my feed did crash briefly. Not sure whether it's the internet, in fact, it didn't pay the bill, or whether or not that was a common fault, but Ross McWilliam clocked 14.434, and John Sibbald's best was 14.677. Now, this is Dave Casey. Now, my spies tell me that he is one of the men to watch, not only in the real world of national hot rods, having been placed, of course, in the last couple of world finals, and leading the points this year in Ireland, but also was running very quick last night around this track. So can he pass 13.982? That was the time set earlier, the quickest time by Damien in car 51. That's the checkered flag, so we'll wait to see the time. 14.057, 14.057, so not quick enough to beat 51 at this stage. Right, Phil McCloy, I've built him up about 5 times to enter the track, and he's going to wait again. It's going to be Glenn Bell next in car number 9, a man that knows Vauxhall well, having taken his finest hour in 2012 with a win at the track. And of course has won plenty before that in other rod classes and since in the National Hot Rods. Top of the Northern Irish points and dominating that prior to racing being suspended. So has had another fantastic year and of course would be a major favourite for the World Final should it take place this year. But what's he going to do in the virtual world? He's underway. Still only one driver under the 14-second barrier at this moment. And up the home straight, the checkered flag from our virtual starter is out. And we await to see what time Glenn achieved. 14.041, so quickest of this group. Not quite as quick as Kennedy or Mulvey from Group 1. Right, Philip McCloy's been highlighted plenty, still not coming out. It's Carwalla Barrett that's next, 162, the East Anglian driver. He's been knocking on the door for the last few years at Speed Weekend. Of course, European titles going his way. Will surely be world champion one day. Will he be world champion tonight? We'll find out as he gets his hot laps underway. Very talented youngster, 4th in the English points this year when things were brought to a halt. He making his way down that far side, down towards the Ken Cam's bend. So Waller Barrett then comes round and will complete. 14.041 to beat in this group, 13.982 overall, and his time just coming through to us. 14.008, so slightly quicker than Bell, and has gone second quickest, but still not as quick as 51. So who is next? Chris Crane looks to me in car 15. The southerner in the National Hot Rods, joining us on the raceway. Fair bit of experience, Farnborough based to be exact, and knows this raceway like the back of his hand. Experienced racing family. And on he goes onto his hot laps then. So making his way around the Ken Cam's bend and up towards the home stretch to pass the start-finish line. Chris, who has been there or thereabouts in recent racing for the National Hot Rods at the big events. How's he going to get on here as he goes past us? Time just coming through to us. 14.008, the quickest from Waller Barrett in this group, and Crane's done a 14.189. 14.189. So still Damien Mulvey the quickest in 51 from the first group. Right, next out is Donovan Vosser in 73. making his way onto the home stretch. Another South African racing here this evening. And how will he fare against the best of the English, Irish and Scots? Maybe a Dutch as well, just for good measure. So he makes his way up, does Donovan, and goes through. One of the young pretenders racing in the class. Still 13.982 to beat to get pole position. He's almost overcooked it. He has overcooked it. 14.326 the best. 14.326. It was going okay until overcooking it on the home stretch. So that brought the end to his hot laps. 14.326. Right, who's next, I hear you cry? It is, finally, Philip McCloy. Graphics man have wanted him out on track for ages, highlighting him, and here he is. Don't let us down, Philip. And the Ballymena driver then. Making his way round the Vauxhall Bowl. Still have Derek Martin, Adam Maxwell to come, amongst others. But McCloy comes up the home stretch and past us. Times have been pretty consistent amongst this group so far in the early 14s. Waller Barrett 14.008 as he completes his lap. 14.303. So 14.303 for Philip McCloy. The Irishman. Right, who is next? Derek Martin, I believe, is scheduled to go next. And here he comes then. Pretty good on track, of course. Pretty good at this type of racing as well, so we're told. Not bigging you up too much, sir. Wish you the best of luck then as we go in pursuit. Can anyone get close to 13.982? This could be the man to do so. So down to the Ken Cam's Bend and up the home stretch. Problems maybe. No, 13.941, no such problems. That was quick. And 13.941 is the new quickest hot lap time. So Martin now in pole position as it stands. Now here's another gentleman of the raceway, Adam Maxwell in 76 then. Winner back in 2016. And if that wasn't enough to know Vauxhall, racing a banger on World Final Night. The last chance races last year as well, so knows every part of this track. So 13.941 is the time to now beat as Adam goes on his way. .043 appears there on the screen. Can he go quicker? 13.990. I'm just waiting for that to be confirmed. And that is confirmed. So 13.990. So the third to go under 13 seconds. Just behind Mulvey and Martin, but for sure is going to be right up to the front of the grid. Right, we're getting through these now pretty quickly. Right, Carl Sloan is next. I think racing in his brother's format tonight. That's why it's not saying Carl on it. But rest assured, it is the 75 car. And it is Carl at the wheel. So he's out. Brief view of the car park there. Anyway, away we go. Slow and underway. Better view of the Vauxhall Raceway to see the track this. So through goes Carl. Last couple have been pretty hot. 13.941 from Derek Martin, 13.990. Sloan looks like he's done a 14.290. That's bottom right hand of the screen now. Has he gone quicker? $14.237 may have disappeared. Just waiting for that to be confirmed. $14.237 is confirmed. So just waiting to find out if any of the other drivers that we were waiting for have come in late here. A couple of others we were expecting that haven't yet taken their hot laps. But it may well be those that cancelled late doors. Right, looks like our team are setting us up for our next action, which will be for the stock rods. That will be their second heat. Then I'll be back to bring you the next of the stock car races. Those grid times will be looked at, but certainly subject to confirmation. Derek Martin in car 20, 13.941 will be the man that is on pole position, but not far away. Mulvey, Maxwell, amongst others. That should be cracker. That's coming up at event number 7. Coming up next, though, back to Ben, who will take you through Heat 2 for the stock rods.
Yes, and just briefly talking about 13 stock cars, just a message on Facebook from Jack Elwood, one of our 13 stock car drivers tonight. I think making a racing driver's excuse here, he's saying that he's new to his steering wheel, so he's obviously thinking that that's going to get him out of the fact he crashed in Heat 1, but never mind. Anyway, we'll get the stock cars then ready to go for Heat 2. This will be a reverse grid of the first race you saw a little bit earlier on this afternoon. Obviously, this does mean you'll have the cars that start at the back of the grid starts towards the front of the grid, which is a bit obvious really here today. So it will be instead the 248 car of David Critchen starting on the front row alongside 65 Matthew Drysdale. Those are the two cars that we start on the front. Then we've got number 12, Christopher Cardwell, and the 453 of Carl Rhodes on row 2. Row 3, the 997 of Matthew Muckerman. Have the number 10 of Niall McFerrin in the outside of that row. He's in 6th place now, and that could be a very good thing for him, as he is very quick, and I think off a position such as that, he's got a good chance of being able to find his way through the field nicely. 167 out there of Gary Nichols. He's on the inside of row 4. Outside row 4, 909 of Adam Weir. Then we've got inside row number 525. That is Siobhan Martin. Then we've got 549 of Aaron Newell on the outside of that row. Inside row 6, number 27 of Gary Dean. And outside 911, Cole McFall. 961 of Barry Casey is the inside of row 7 alongside number 23 of Mark Morrell. We've got 718 of Darren Cardy on the inside of row 8 alongside 258 of Dan Shannon. Inside row number 8, inside row 9 rather, I think it should be. I'm sorry about that one. It's 917 of Rick Purdy and 944 on the outside of Derek McMillan. And we've got 46 Gary Lusher, who had a couple of incidents in Heat 1. 922 of Curtis Greer. 216 George Baker, I think is a no-show. He wasn't in Heat 1. And then our pole sitter, number 928, James Morris, of course. Curtis Greer, number 922, starting towards the back of the grid, but he did win our first heat of the day a little bit earlier on for our stock rods. So get this race underway. Then, like I say, this is going to be the same as Heat 1. It'll be a rolling start with 16 laps. Hopefully the grid is formed a little bit quicker than what it was earlier on in the day, as we do want to try and get this meeting wrapped up by about 10 o'clock UK time. And obviously we need to get it wrapped a bit earlier than that, because obviously we do have some viewers from overseas, I imagine, today. Of course, time zones, of course, could make it even later for them. Just have a look back at the chat there. A couple of recognisable names in there. Just a bit of confusion here on the timing boards, but trying to get who is quicker at the moment. So it looks like Gary Nichols currently fourth on timing sheets. That's the best I can see at the moment. 16.234 at the moment. That's 0.169 seconds further off that. So yes, certainly some of the bigger names, perhaps maybe not rising to the occasion as expected in Heat 1 perhaps on this one. Also, there's a few bumps and scrapes that didn't help along the way. It's slightly flawed Heat 1, I think it must be said, for the stock rods. Brilliant, and I've just lost my view again, but we're back again now. I do apologise for a couple of problems this evening with the live stream. It's first time it's been tried with us, and a few teething problems certainly happening this evening, and I do apologise for that. Not to mention my commentary, which is pretty poor as well this evening, as we said. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So just waiting here, as I've just got the admins talking in the Discord server here, just letting us know what's happening here. Like I say, I've already given the rundown of the grid for Heat 2 for the stock rods, and there again, it's just been called on the server now. So the race is about to begin. Let's try again then. Just waiting for the field to get called round to their grid positions, obviously. So they've got busy bill of action to get to site, and like I say, we do apologise for the fact we are running a bit later than we would have liked this evening, but you know, stock car racing often does overrun a little bit on its scheduled timing, and no matter what form there's running. But I do have a quick pause in the action here. Of course, I say, of course, we run our regular meetings during the week time, and of course, we're going to be back big start tomorrow, 7 o'clock start time, with the National Hot Rod Scottish Championship with the Knockhill Circuit in Scotland on the tri-oval there. That'll be an interesting one to see, and I'm sure there'll probably be a few incidents on that one, but it's Knockhill, so what do you expect, I guess, is some of the cases. Like I say, got various other formers coming, the Stock rods for their Irish Championship in 2 weeks' time on the 11th of May at Nuts Corner. That's a 7 o'clock start time there. And incidentally, one other event that's coming up is our very own Thursday Stock Car World Final, our very own Thursday Stock Car European Championship here at Ipswich itself on Tuesday the 12th of May. That's an 8 o'clock start time for that one, of course. I'll give you some other upcoming events for our Brisker and Bangor Formula a little bit later on in the evening. But now just getting the cars on up then, and obviously, as I say, a few no-shows, the field will be filled in with this one. So hopefully I'll be able to follow the action a bit better than what I was in the first two races of the evening, as well. I had a change of cam position. I've now got a scoreboard on my screen, so I can actually see things a little bit easier now. So, like I say, I do apologise for that. In Heat 1, if you didn't quite get the race action, if the race commentary was a little bit off than what it would have been otherwise. 'So we have our full front row of cars this time, because I'm pretty certain now that George Baker is a no-show. I haven't seen the 216 car all night so far, so I don't think he's turned up. I just wasn't told he'd booked out, so that's why I was a bit confused on why he didn't appear on track in Heat 1. But I think unfortunately, that's one of the things that does happen. Obviously, you do get no-shows in real life as well. You just probably don't notice it as much as what you do on R Factor. 12 out there, Christopher Cardwell. Now, as far as I'm aware, he was racing some mini stocks the other night at Coventry, so he's obviously had a bit of a trial run with stock cars on the R Factor, and I'm sure he's registered as well for the OSCA domestic meetings as well that run during the week. So thankfully I've got a better view now, which is very helpful indeed. I can see the whole track now, because before it was a bit difficult to see turn 4 from where I was viewing the action from, because obviously I've not got control of the cameras tonight. I usually would when I'm doing my regular voiceovers for various leagues over the R Factor community. Tonight I've left that in the hands of Tom Davidson. Tom Davidson, regular race number 100 on the R Factor scene. So certainly I think Matthew Drysdale could be a favourite here. He's off the front row, but he is on the outside. And the outside sometimes is not the place to be here at Vauxhall, because it's quite easy to get what the Americans use in NASCAR, or the term that is used in NASCAR called freight training, where basically you're on the outside, everyone on the inside just comes down your inside like you're standing still. Happens a lot in the non-contact formulas, of course, over here as well. Obviously, we don't have quite as big a tracks as they do over in America. Obviously, it's, they've got the big sort of 2.5 mile Daytonas and Talladegas. So Vauxhall, I think, is one of our longer tracks here in the UK, alongside Henswood Hills Raceway as well in Staffordshire. So the pace car is heading to the front of the grid then. Mr. Velassi, the driver of that one. I'm sure I've made a mess of his name, as I have been doing since December when I started doing this commentary work for the OSCA. It's okay then, the grid, okay, it's called then. Rolling start, 20 miles an hour, of course, that's 32 kilometres an hour for our overseas viewers. As they make their way around then, so hopefully, as long as all the names of players stay on the cars, I can see the action this time. Here we go. So D. Miguel will lead them off on the inside. I see one of our late entries to the programme today had to quickly write down his number about 15 minutes before start time, and it was told by one of our admins. Anyway, green flag drops, and away we go. Stockrod's way feet to their evening side by side. Really, Matthew Jazzo right round the outside as Carl Rose hits the wall coming off turn 4. Really, he's not real life, because that would have probably put a wheel back on that car. As down the back straight they go for the first time, and Drysdale has made the jump. So once I haven't put the cursor on him, they did a few nights ago. Third and second place race to the top. So I think my two predictions so far tonight are doing well in this race. They're up into first, second place. It's Spinner. Who's that? Who's gone? Barry Casey, who's gone round at turns 3 and 4 then. Not a few cars that went round in Heat 1 again. We've got another car getting a bit broadside there, but we'll change for the lead down here at turn 1. Bumpers going in. A bit of a banging of door panels there. Matthew Giles has been fired out towards the place now. There's a bit of a banging of door panels as they came through. I got another car around. Carl Rhodes has gone again. He's hanging with the 944 of Derek McMillan. Just caught the end of that there. Didn't see what started that. Maybe we'll see that later on in the replays. Well, I will anyway if I get a chance to look at the replays after the meeting. Oh, big crash there as 718 of Cardi put away somebody down there. He unfortunately turned someone towards the wall. There's now McFerrin number 910, and another clash there as Hardwell gets involved with a car redoing more carnage there. Z McGill sangers with Carl Rhodes at turn 4. Just may have thought this was stock cross, not stock cars. Another spin. Barry Casey goes around again at turn 4, right in front of our race leaders. And I believe it's a Northern Ireland 1, 2, 3 in this race. Barry Nichols is next in line in fourth place. And fifth running at the top 5 is Colbert Force, another Northern Irishman. And has Barry Casey gone round again? Isn't Barry Casey this time? He's rejoining, whoever it was that just rejoining, got T-boned by half the pack. He was 944 of Derek McMillan who went around there. He got collected on the rejoin by a couple of other cars in that battle as well. One of them was Mark Morrell, who got involved in that one. Unfortunately, he was an innocent bystander that had no time to do anything but pile straight to the side of that car because there was a tower on his outside and another car on his outside, so there was nowhere for him to go. Your leader is still Niall McFerrin. He's got the lead now. He's leading by about 1.3 seconds consistently. Matthew Giles at second place in another tangle there, and Carl Rhodes hit the race leader. The leader's match hold on to there as Carl Rhodes bounced off the home straight fence. He bounced into the path of the leader. There is the leader lap 718 of Darren Cardy on the back straight there. Those two getting out in a pit manoeuvre down there. That was a bit unsporting as the number 12 of Christopher Cardwell got spun to the centre green there. Didn't see who by there. Just caught a glimpse of the car getting flicked aside. I imagine there'll probably be something like a black cross or a black flag going out to somebody on that one. There's that. I think it was a little bit out of order for stock rods. Barry Nichols in 176 has now got Colbert Fall round his back bumper. Now you don't want that on you. You don't want the Colbert Fall in your rearview mirror that close. And he's actually gone through now. So McFall has been able to take over the fourth place there. So it's now a Northern Ireland 1, 2, 3, 4 in our stock rods in this race. Nichols is fighting back though. But I don't think he's going to get the move done there because Colbert Fall is a great attacker and also a very good defender as well. As Gary Lusher has had quite a race so far in this one. He's now got pressure from the 944 of Dayton. I'm not sure if they're fighting together on track for position. They could be on different laps. Martin there, 3 wide off turn 4 briefly there as Dan Shannon got forced to the inside there, looking not to take out a couple of other cars in that one. And we've got a change going on here. Got a great scrap for third place there. 3 cars going down the back straight, 3 wide for third. And unfortunately, Matthew Micklin there got absolutely swamped by Gary Nichols and Carl McFall. McFall's managed to go through into third place there. Gary Nichols was able to make the move, but so that's with Milken falling down the order a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm not quite sure what lap we're on here, so we'll just play a guessing game. There we go, 1 lap to go. Just as I said that the game was very helpful for me and decided to say 1 lap to go. So on the back straight for the final time. Then your race leader is still Niall McFerrin coming out to the final bend. Check flag goes up and he goes down. He takes the flag. Drives down second place. McCormick will be third. Got a roll over the final bend. Oh, Gary Nichols and Matthew Micklin have gone. So the fourth place battle comes apart on the final bend. And Adam Weir says thanks to Richard takes fourth place. Well, that was lucky for him, but unfortunately we had another rollover. So that's 2 rollovers already today in the stock rods. And we're not even at the feature final yet, but we'll get the last few cars across the timing line and we'll go effectively to red flags now. The race is over. The red and checkers will be out from the starter's rostrum in real life. And we'll get the full rundown results for you on the live stream here. I'll just make my way over to there just to try and find the results of that one for the stock rods. It's a very good race from the stock rods there, that must be said. That was, I think, a much better race than race 1. There was a little bit less contact involved, but there was still a few incidents, and I'm sure a few bumpers that need to be replaced after that one. I'm sure the marshals have a nice eBay collection of Vauxhall parts after that one. Nobody braving anything. Nobody braving a Peugeot or a Citroen tonight, because you can have a Peugeot I think it's a Peugeot 106, and it could be a 105 to be fair. And there is also a Citroen AX as well that is available to run in the stock rods on this game. But all Vauxhalls tonight, nobody's braved anything different. And there's also Paul McFerrin takes the win. Second, Matthew Jarzo 65. Colm 4911 is third. Adam Weir 909 is fourth. 997 Matthew Mickelin is up there in fifth. Of Graham, that's Curtis Green. He won the first heat, of course. Gary Nichols 176 is seventh. Eighth is Derek Martin, number 944, the world champion. Mark Morale, number 923 is ninth, and then Darren Shenraz at the top team 258. So once again, just the numbers for you: 10, 65, 911, 909, 997. 922, 167, 944, 923, and 258. But there you go, Stock Rods Heat 2. I'll hand back over to Graham, who will take you through the next event, which is going to be Heat number 2 for the stock cars.
Thanks very much, Ben. Yes, stock cars on track in a few moments. Reverse grid from earlier on. Josh Wells winning the first heat for the stock cars. So it should be Charlie Mao and Paul Alward on front row. Paul, of course, now the granddad of Alwards in stock car classes. He'll be on front row with Paul Brown in 104. Curtis Tebeden was due to be there. I'm not sure we saw him in the first one. If he is, he'll be on the second row in 137. Niall McFerrin, who's having a busy night, will be on row 3, along with Jack Smith in 302. Tommy Howard in 51, 517. Ben Sanders, who got stuck in the first race. Billy Smith in 161. And 23, the world champion Lee Pearce. Right, looks like we're just about set to go then. 1300cc stock cars, heat number 2, racing for their European Championship later on. So grid is formed. Could have cleaned the roof. Saw Jimmy Morris there in the mix in 167. Multi-champion, of course, is Jimmy. Best in Britain, a London champion winner amongst other things. Rumours even smiled in 2010. Here we go then. Stock cars and Heat 2 just getting themselves sorted out. Ian Beaumont there in 713. No duck on that car, amazingly. Of course, in previous or more recent times, is mixing the super stocks, as well as the stock cars with plenty of championships. Billy Smith out there in 161 as well, of course, who's better known in the national saloons, but has raced just about every formula there is to race. And Jack Howard, he was giving Ben the reason for first race and not being quite as much good as normal with the steering wheel. We'll see how he fares in this one. So grid is now forming, and as you mentioned, Paul Howard and Charlie Mao will be on front row, so that grid gradually forming. Connor Sheldrake may also be in that front group as they begin to form the grid for this second race. For the 1300cc stock cars feature race for the National Hot Rods, their E-World Championship comes up next, followed by the Stock Rod World Final and then the Stock Car European Championship to finish off. I think this view probably will give us a much better view of some of the action taking place in this 1300cc stock car heats. Niall McFerrin, who's having a busy night. In car number 10, should be on row 3 here. You can see them forming up. So Paul Howard in 46 on the inside here on front row. Should be pretty hard to catch, you would think, or will he? Row 4 for the Gardner, Tommy Elwood in 51, alongside Ben Sanders in 517. Billy Smith in 161 behind that, and the world champion Lee Pearce was actually watching back the 2008 1300cc world final today, which Pearce actually crossed the line first. Might actually make the Classic Races programme on Speedworth TV, that. But of course did finally get the gold roof. Lee, of course, who despite only looking 20, been racing for about 40 years. And he will start this in roundabout grid position 10. Josh McKinstry just behind him in 515 amongst that pack as well. So grid is just about formed for heat 2. Looks like Jimmy Morris there with a slight issue in 167. Retro pace car in action tonight. Jimmy Morris could be in a bit of a vulnerable spot there. So we're away then with 167 stuck in the middle of the track, and not surprisingly gets forced out of the way straight away. Rather harsh to be left there, but in the virtual world, won't have the aches and pains in the morning. So through we come then, and the early stages, Mal Tebenham go past with one lap complete. And it's Niall McFerrin that takes up as the pack go in to the scoreboard bend, and not many actually come out of it. So down the far side, the McFerrin leads the way. Car number 10, Niall in front. Curtis Tebenham still very much in the mix as they go through Charlie Mao. 319 or 60, whichever you prefer, as they go piling into the scoreboard bend, and a couple go into the arm cove very, very hard. Looks like Jack Howard may have more problems this time on the Ken Cams bend. So McFerrin leads through lap 5. And Jack Howard is looking like a retirement. So here they come round the Ken Cams bend, and 4 in contention for the lead. And it's Charlie Mayo who's back in front. Niall McFerrin still there. Curtis Tebenham in 137 is there in third. Knox here on the home straight, and we've got one up on its side. Looked like Zach Gilmore may have been the one, the multi-champion, that was up on 2 wheels momentarily. But meanwhile, cracking race on up front as Niall McFerrin having a busy night, leading the way here from Curtis Tebenham. Charlie Mao in third, Niall McFerrin still there. Ben Sanders making eye-catching progress. So round the turn we go again then. Charlie Mao. Kane Parnell getting right in the mix as well. Niall McFerrin. So the 128 car making good progress. More knocks and bangs on the home straight. Car was momentarily up in the air there as we're on lap number 8, and it's Charlie Mel that leads. Kane Parnell, Ben Sanders. We've lost a couple of others. Curtis Tebenham, who no doubt has probably got involved in some of the action. Always used to say, with a name like that and the way he looked, should be in Home and Away. No, now he races now, probably should be in a gangster film. He's a very useful racer, but he's just lost out in this one. So Charlie Mel leads the way with his haircut in car 60. Going round the Scoreboard Ben, Parnell second. Peter Greer in 921 has made good progress. The 921 car, he started midfield in this. Problems on the home straight for one who slowed right up, and they're going in all directions here as they make their way once again. Scoreboard bend, and there's another huge heap of cars and smoke. Who's going to come out of it? Still Mel leads. Lee Pearce is rejoined from the centre green in 23, the world champion. So Charlie Mel leads and now has a bit of breathing space between him and Peter Greer in the 921 car. Josh Wells, who went so well in the previous race, is up to third in treble one, came down to fourth. And then we get Ben Sanders and Bromley, who's also in the mix as well. So lap 12. And the leader, we've got a rollover on the infield this time. So Charlie Mel has the lead. Car ends in the Armco at the end of the straight and may not rejoin. Martin Taylor rejoins in 422. He'd been on the infield as well. There's problems right in front of us here on the home straight. As just out of view, there's another rollover there as well. Spectacular stuff then. Charlie Mel leads, lap 14. So getting to the business end, Peter Greer, Josh Wells is next. Ian Beaumont in 713, despite no duck, is not holding him back. The multi-champion. And all of a sudden it's change up front as Josh Wells has come through. So Josh Wells looking to double up in treble one. Peter Greer, Charlie Mel now third as we get towards the final stages then. And it's three next time. So Josh Wells in front then. Curtis Tebbenham still going strong. But down the field, Josh Wells then we saw briefly there. Making his way now down the back straight. Jimmy Morris still going, but has had all sorts of problems in this one. So Josh Wells then has the lead as we go into the final couple of laps then. So Wells going on his way in. Beaumont, who was briefly there or thereabouts. There goes Wells in treble one, the leader. Now can Peter Greer get through? He forces the leader wide and Greer goes through. He's out as well. And now all of a sudden McFerrin is back in. So who's going to come out on top of this? Down towards the Kencam's Bend as we're into the final stages then. And as they come off the turn, Josh Wells was there. Connor Bromley also involved. We cross the line and the checkered flag goes out. And, well, dramatic final lap there with a penultimate lunge. Looks like Josh Wells may just have got there ahead of Peter Greer and Niall McFerrin as they all went into a heap around the scoreboard bend. But it looks like Josh Wells has doubled up. Peter Greer and Niall McFerrin, Charlie Mel and Ben Sanders, they weren't far away. And a couple of spectacular ends. Ian Beaumont there, almost landing out of the sky. Right, we'll get that result confirmed for you very, very shortly indeed. I'm sure Ben will bring us that because he'll have the information on his server. And then will be the National Hot Rod E-World Championship of 2020.
One they should be taken from that race is that the 161 car, Billy Smith, was actually black flagged in that race. And assuming probably for hitting on the infield, as a few of the 1300 stock cars have been doing already today. But we'll get the result up on the timing screen. Okay then, treble one, Josh Wells, your race winner once again. So that's 2 wins out of 2, so he's on pole position, no doubt about that. Behind him is Peter Greer in number 921. Niall McFerrin is up there in third. In number 10, they've got Charlie Male, number 60 in fourth. Ben Sanders, 517 is fifth. They've got 515, Josh McKinstry in sixth. They've got 234 of Lee, 23, Lee Pearce in seventh. Eighth is Kane Palmer, 129. They've got ninth place, Curtis Tebbenham in 137. And 10th is 713 Ian Beaumont. So once again, just numbers for you. 111, 21, 10, 60, 517, 515, 23, 129, 137, and 713. Now, I did say at the start of the meeting that I had Jack Aylward down as one of my predictions for winning the 13 Stock Car European Championship. And, well, I've done what I've always done and cursed him. So, apologies on that one, but that is the 13 Stock Cars. Next one track will be the feature race tonight, race number 7, the National Hot Rods Championship of the World.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ben. I think in fairness to Billy Smith, he won't ever have seen a black flag before, so he wouldn't have known what it meant. So fair play to him. He will learn. He will learn. Good stuff from the stock cars. More to come later on. Right, grid for the National Hot Rod World Final. We knew the top section. We'll just run it through for you. Martin with his 13.941 on pole. Mulvey alongside 13.982. Maxwell 13.99 in grid 3. Waller Barrett will be in grid 4, 14.008. After that, Simon Kennedy, good effort from him. He will start in 5th. Glenn Bell in 6th. Dave Casey in 7th. Q in 8th. Larson in 9th. Crane in 10th. Smith in 11th. Sloan in 12th. Murray in 13th. McCloy in 14th. Voster in 15th. Ross in 16th. Armit in 17th. Sibold 18th. Anderson 19. So that is basically going to be our lineup for this National Hot Rod World Championship, which will be underway very, very shortly indeed. The cars making their way out onto the raceway following this Stock Rod World Final and then the 1300cc European Championship at the end of the meeting. That's how things look. So the form lines that we had from practice last evening weren't far wrong, as Derek Martin and Carl Waller Barrett were put up as very, very quick men indeed, along with David Casey, and they are not far off the front of that grid. I think going to be over 50 laps for this virtual world final of 2020. And we'll be underway very, very shortly. As you can see from our board, the drivers would come out, go around in their positions and form the grid for that world final. So Derek, of course, nephew of Keith, had such a long record and of racing at Ipswich, including that special win in the mid-2000s. And of course, I think was, if social media was to be believed, was racing round earlier on this year as well in the practice over there in Ireland. So still going strong. Good old Keith. And Derek certainly performing very, very well indeed on track as well, and knows Ipswich like the back of his hand. He'll be starting this on pole position then for this race. Couple of drivers who performed well there that may be surprised and have got themselves a decent position. None more so, of course, 51. Damien, who will start alongside Adam Maxwell back in grid 3 and Carl Waller Barrett 4. Not too many surprises there. Simon Kennedy put in that decent lap as well, 14.015. So that is a sterling effort from Simon. And he will start on row 3 along with 2012 winner Glenn Bell in car number 9. So that will be the front 3 rows. David Casey just behind those in 261, the Irishman, and then Jason Q in 174. That's how the hot laps determined our grid. The points from the 2 stock rod races and the stock car races will give us their grid positions for their World Championship and European Championship coming up. Once again, a big thank you to all behind the scene at OSCA for providing us with tonight. Put a lot of work in to try and get this virtual meeting underway. First time I think that 3 formulas have been in one particular meeting, so not easy. And the biggest virtual stock car racing meeting about to come to a head with the 3 feature races on the night. Who's going to win the National Hot Rod Virtual World Championship? Well, Derek Martin going to be hard to stop off the front, you would think, but some other quick men are very much poised behind him. So we'll have the cars ready to go very, very shortly for this National Hot Rod World Championship.
It's obviously just the last few preparations been made before the big race in this one for the National Hot Rods. Like I say, I've been told this is going to be a 50-lap race, with the full 75-lap distance we often see at the Speed Weekend. But still, it's a pretty long race by oval racing standards, and I'm sure that this one will be no different. Obviously, Talman Trials, of course, made the grid. Not many cars breaking the 14-second barrier. And just waiting for the last few preparations been made from the admin team behind the scenes on this one. And of course, the drivers were just reminded to put some extra fuel in the car because the National Hot Rods, well, at standard, if you can do 25 laps of racing with one tank of fuel, you've done quite well because usually they conk out after about 24 laps. So that will be something that is very important to make sure that cars don't run out of fuel before the end of the race.
Of course, part of the Speed Weekend presentation, the cars being pushed out onto the track by their teams.
Yeah, although, I don't think we can do that.
No, that would be something different. But preparations underway. Now, Ben, you've actually, I'm not sure if I want to ask this, having heard your 1300cc predictions, but obviously you've seen a couple of the qualifiers and seen a couple of the meetings recently. Derek Martin, can anyone stop him?
I don't know. It's very hard to tell. I mean, we haven't seen all of them out there, which is the thing. A lot of the drivers haven't appeared since until today. I mean, Carl Walback was looking relatively quick at the opening end of the season for our hot rods at Skegness until he got taken out a couple of times. Obviously, the Dutchman Jeffrey Ruffin, who was meant to be here tonight, he was at that meeting as well. Again, he had problems getting taken out, but don't really know who to say for the hot rods really tonight. But she'll say it could be a surprise victory because, as we know with oval racing, is that anything can happen, and it usually does, particularly at these big events. And it's 50 laps, not just one corner.
Very much the case. We'll see what happens then in a few moments as the cars are prepared for this 50-lap race then. Had a couple of unfortunate dropouts of other former top national hot rod drivers who didn't make it tonight, but still plenty of quality in there, both current and from the past. So this is going to be the longest race of the evening then, over 50 laps of the Vauxhall Bowl.
Been noticing Maxwell all night making some comments in the chat, so I suspect he might have accidentally put a target on his back for this race. That could be his problem.
Yeah, just reading some of the comments there.
Really taking the mick out of I think it was number 9 Gray. I think it's embarrassing on the name of the driver, but number 9 of Bell, he was getting the mick taken out of him.
Glenn.
He was flying lap earlier on.
I see, right. There's lots of chat about Maxwell. Yes. A few others suggesting we might have a destruction derby, but let's hope not. With this National Hot Rod World Final about to get underway then, with the grid forming. Those trees could do with cutting.
As you were saying earlier in the first round of time trials, that the graphics look very good at this track, and this is actually one of the earliest tracks that was actually made for the game, and it holds up a lot better than some of the more recent ones.
No, graphics are fantastic and absolutely spot on for the track, right down to the detail of the scoreboard. As I said earlier on, almost mockingly, if that camera gantry was as clean as that on top of the stand at Vauxhall, we'd be delighted.
If you look closely, the scoreboard does actually work because it's connected to the timing screens on the game.
Very impressive indeed. Only problem is some of you eagle-eyed may have noticed that no start marshal tonight. Unfortunately, he was furloughed a couple of weeks ago, not been replaced, and the rostrum that was chopped up for wood. But other than that, it's pretty spot on. Here we go then, National Hot Rod World Championship, E-World Championship of 2020, 50 laps of the course. Just to repeat then those front through rows for you. With Derek Martin on pole position for this very special race. He will be alongside Damien Mulvey in 51 Adam Maxwell in grid 3, Carl Barrett in grid 4, Simon Kennedy in grid 5, Glenn Bell alongside in 6, and then behind that, placed in World Championships proper for the last few seasons, Dave Casey. He is there with Jason Q 174. Behind that, Jordan Larson will be in 112, and then will be Chris Crane in 15. Behind those, Dan Smith in 565, and then we'll see Carl Sloan after that, Gavin Murray, and then McCloy. After McCloy will be Foster, then Ross, Armitt, Sibold, and Anderson. That will make up the grid, and as you can see, that is now being formed here on the home straight over the 50-lap duration of Vauxhall. But yes, cars waiting here for go in the feature race of the evening.
Looks like we're going to use 2 pace cars. This one will do something that we haven't used so far tonight, which hopefully the pace cars get out of the way on the back straight, not like the home straight, like what we tried for a couple of our races in the past. It didn't end well for us.
Yeah, won't ask. No starters in the back of them either. If we haven't got a budget for one on a rostrum, we better not put them on the back. So we will see anyway. 50 lap. We had a retro pace car I saw last night, which was very fitting of one back in the day.
It's the old Speedwith Escort that comes with the stock rod mod that was in use last night.
So we are nearly there then. Have around about 14 of the cars in place. The rest will join us. Roy Anderson towards the back of the field, about to take his place. So going to be 50 laps of the Vauxhall Bowl, and we are just about ready to go. So stand by, feature race just seconds away. So good luck to all the drivers then. Here we go. National Hot Rod E-World Championship of 2020 at the Vauxhall International Raceway. We're about to go. The 2 pace cars on their way. This will be over 50 laps of the course. 2 warming up laps as ever.
It's not a very good start as the third have crashed into each other on the back straight already.
So we've ditched one of the pace cars. So front row of the grid, Derek Martin in car 20, 51 Damien Mulvey alongside Adam Maxwell there in grid 3. Where we see someone come through from the back. So many questions to be answered. Here we go then, stand by. About to get this National Hot Rod Championship of the World over 50 laps at Ipswich underway. So pace car leaves the raceway. We're away. The National World Championship underway, and we've already lost a couple around the Ken Cam's bend. There was carnage in behind as Martin got away best. And Maxwell made early progress. Now who's still in that heap away to our right? It has cleared. So Martin and Maxwell. Jason Q has made an excellent start in 174. He's through the early schmozzle and into third place. There's a spin here on the home straight. Looks like Anderson may well have gone round there, as several of the back markers, John Sibold, were off the pace as well. I think we may have lost in the early stages also Simon Kennedy from his good position on the grid. He rejoins, but well down. So Derek Martin leads through the early stages. Madam Maxwell They're on the home straight. They go towards the scoreboard bend. There was a massive hit on the home straight. Dan Smith's gone round in 5.65, was collected by 51 there, and then has had a virtual head-on with another driver. So Martin and Maxwell go on. Those masters of the raceway leads. Jason Q in 1.74. Carl Waller-Barrett 1.62 is next. So the race is on. And through goes Derek Martin then with a narrow advantage over Adam Maxwell in the 76 car as we go through lap number 5. Problems here on the home straight, and a spinner there could well have been Jordan Larson in 1.12, who went spinning aside. So knocks and bangs around the raceway as Derek Martin leads. Adam Maxwell, the winner back in 2016 of the real thing. Jason Q, placed so often in the world final, has probably got the most world finals of the real thing under his belt. As we get retirement, 51's got big problems over on turn 3 there, and was getting mixed up with Crane, and he himself goes round in the 51 car, so unfortunately hasn't taken advantage of that excellent start. So here come the leaders then on the home straight. Derek Martin leads from Adam Maxwell in second. Carl Waller-Barrett is behind them in third. Jason Q in 1.74. There may well be the 75 car of Carl Sloan. The Irishman making good progress. So Martin is through and leads. And remember, those laps include the warm-up lap, so it's lap number 10. Or there or thereabouts. So Martin still leads. Problems over on turn 4 for one of them. As Martin goes through again, passes on the home straight. Adam Maxwell still very much within striking distance. Roy Anderson still there, he rejoins. Dan Smith is also back out there. So Martin and Maxwell continue their battle. They're a good way clear of Waller-Barrett, who's in third place at this moment in time. But down towards the Ken Cam's bend again. Very little between them. 51 and 5.65 right ahead of the leaders, getting mixed up with each other as the top two, just about managed to avoid each other. Although I think 51 may well have taken Maxwell wide there down on the scoreboard bend, and that's cost him valuable ground. So that's given Martin a real clear lead. Did Maxwell survive? He did. He's still there in second place. 51 looked as though he'd deliberately tried to take the 76 car wide there as they made their way round the scoreboard bend. So this has given Derek Martin things well in his hands up front as that battle for second continues amongst the back markers. But Derek Martin now left clear. A rollover here on the home straight. John Sibold was spun out there as well. So all happening here on the entrance to the home stretch, and Derek Martin's lead is extended. Adam Maxwell second, QE third. We've lost Waller-Barrett somewhere in amongst those last couple of laps. More problems on the back straight right ahead of the second place drivers, but Derek Martin is now miles clear. Maxwell's gone, and Jason Q has gone through. Maxwell back in, but lost valuable ground, and all of a sudden now Derek Martin is miles ahead. There's a huge crash over on turn 4, which I think involved Dan Smith. Not for the first time, Dan. As they race on by then. So Martin leads the way. QE, Maxwell, Waller-Barrett is back in, but he's a lap down, and these are some way off the pace. 998 Simon Kennedy, who was involved in some of the early shenanigans, he's back in, but 4th and 5th are already a lap down. So we'll try and pick up the leader then, as Derek Martin well clear. Jason Q now in a clear second place ahead of Maxwell in third. A rollover here, 2 rollovers on the entrance to the home straight. Larson has gone over, and Glenn Bell in car number 9 is also over, and then he gets rammed by what looked to be 95. But absolute mayhem on the entrance to the home straight. Martin is still clear of QE. Maxwell third. More problems here on the home straight. 75 involved. Maxwell got through. There's Sibold back in. And another rollover here. Another 2 rollovers. Larson been over for the 3rd time and then nearly gets T-boned. It's all happening here. And for some of them, this is turning into a lively affair. So Derek Martin, there he is, going through. There's another spin here on the home straight as Philip McCloy goes spinning. Dan Smith's in the fence over on the Ken Cams bend. There's a couple more up in the air. And we're not going to have too many anywhere near the top 5 laps on this, I think, as Derek Martin leads. Huey still there in second. Carl Sloan is back in. A couple of cars, 112 in particular, 565. And Jordan Larson has been black flagged, so Larson is out. Not surprisingly for the amount of rolls he's got in that. So Derek Martin then leads and is well clear. Huey is still in second. Adam Maxwell in third place. And then behind that is Simon in 998. And those front 3 are the only ones on the lead lap here. So Derek Martin then is well clear as we head then up the home straight once more. Huey in second, Maxwell still there in third. Those 3, the only 3 on the lead lap. So several drivers getting involved in more action than we'd like. So there's Carl Waller-Barrett, who's still going through. He's in 5th place, but he's a lap down. So here's Derek Martin then, about to try and lap Adam Maxwell, who's currently in 3rd place here, as we're on lap number 30. So well into the second half of this World Final of 2020. Maxwell, who got taken out by back markers when challenging for the lead, now has the current leader right on his tail. And remember, he's about to lap the driver that's 3rd. If he can do that, up ahead there's more back markers. So Maxwell tossed aside and goes sideways, not for the first time in this, as Derek Martin is clear. Now where's Jason Q? He's some way off the leader, but he's in second. There he is, just passing the scoreboard. So he's virtually half a lap down as Martin goes through on the home straight in a destructive National Hot Rod World Final, to say the least. This is more like lightning rods. So as we race on then, Derek Martin is clear, leading the way from QE. Simon Kennedy back in 3rd in 998. Carl Waller-Barrett back in 4th as we head through. So as the leader, Derek Martin, heads around the King Cams bend and is miles clear. There he goes up the home straight. The 2nd place driver, QE, just coming down to turn 3. Here he is making his way up the home straight. Several still going despite the mayhem. So as we go through then, once again, and Derek Martin is an easy leader at this stage. Jason Q in 2nd place. 998, Simon Kennedy back in 3rd. Carl Waller-Barrett is next. As Derek Martin's lead extends all the time. Carl Waller-Barrett still going, but a lap down, he's in 4th. Fair effort from Simon Kennedy, who despite his early problems is still going in 3rd. There he is, right in amongst that group. The leader is just past him. So it's only 2 drivers, Martin and QE, on the lead lap. As Derek Martin comes through, there he goes. Has lapped the whole field up to 2nd here. This has been a phenomenal effort. Here's QE, he's a 2nd place driver, just gone past us. And could it be that Derek Martin, I don't think he's quite going to have enough time to get after QE and lap him as well, but is a long way ahead. So the leader then, on lap number 40 or there or thereabouts, as he heads towards the home stretch once again in amongst the back markers, and he goes through, and time running out, but just a case now of him coasting to victory here. He's lapped the whole field bar the 2nd. Jason Q, Simon Kennedy in 3rd, Carl Waller-Barrett in 4th, and then behind that may well now be Chris Crane, the Farnborough driver, in 5th place, who's 2 laps off them. Glenn Bell back in there after one of his spectacular rolls. So then round the Vauxhall Bowl, Derek Martin, who was tipped by many to take this 2020 World Final. Another one has problems on the home straight, which looked like it may well have been John Sibold, if indeed John is still out there. So Derek Martin then, miles clear, Glenn Bell's gone in here on the entrance to the home straight in car number 9. Went in quite hard there. So Derek Martin comes through then, and it's lap 45 as Philip McCloy goes onto the infield once again. He looks like he'll rejoin though, as Glenn Bell does likewise. There's a second place driver then in QE, but Derek Martin on the home straight. Sibold goes out again. So Martin then clear as we get to the business end of proceedings, and lap 46 of 50 as he heads round the turn then and goes up the home straight and is well clear with I think just like 3 laps left to go as he heads to the far side. And it is Martin that leads. Jason Q, who's driven excellent race in second, the only other one anything like the lead lap. Excellent drive from Simon Kennedy in 998, the Northern Irish driver. He's in third. Carwaller Barrett in fourth, and Crane is at fifth. 3 laps off the leader. But we're into the final stages then, and it's Derek Martin that leads this National Hot Rod E-World Championship of 2020. And there's his view as he heads round the turn and up towards the back straight as he goes on his way then. The Derek Martin car then in front early doors was having a good tussle with Adam Maxwell, but in the end he's going to coast to victory here in the World Championship. Derek Martin is going to take the 2020 National Hot Rod E-World Championship as he heads round and up the home straight once again, and it's Martin that wins it. Jason Q will be in second. After that, Simon Kennedy in third place. An excellent result for him. Carwaller Barrett in fourth. And then Chris Crane in fifth as they make their way through as we head into the closing stages to allow all the drivers to come through. Although, frankly, if we're waiting for them all to finish, we will still be here at Speed Weekend 2021 with them that far back. So the rest will come through and complete the distance, and it will go the way of car number 20, Derek Martin, who will be the National Hot Rod E-World Champion of 2020.
Certainly a very destructive race, the National Hot Rods there. Perhaps maybe not what we wanted to see from some of them, but certainly you can't fault a great drive there from Derek Martin. He managed to just find the gaps between the early carnage and, to be fair, the carnage that ensued for the rest of the race. But we'll try and get results up on the screen. I'll try and get results for you in a minute's time. I know that only 2 cars did actually complete the distance on the lead lap in that one. There wasn't much else to be said. But certainly a good run there for Derek Martin, number 20 there. But just waiting for the results to come up on the screen. So. You're not to be seeing the there we got it. So Derek Martin, your race winner. Second was Jason Q. Third was the 998. Then we've got Carwaller Barrett, number 162, Chris Kane, number 15 rather. 6th place Donovan Vorster. Then we've got 7th place, I think, is the 95 car. Then we've got 8th, which again is another one that's a bit blank because the username's not quite right. Then we've got Philip McCloy in 9th, and 36, Roy Anderson running at the top 10. But, well, we did ask the question that Derek Martin could be stopped, and despite all the carnage, I don't think anyone might manage to get near him.
No, fantastic effort away, very, very well. Obviously, Adam Maxwell was right with him for the first third of the race before he was taken out. And that left Martin clear, but just 2 drivers on that lead lap. Congratulations to those that managed to finish. And I've seen less destructive banger DDs. But anyway, that's how it went. And should be next up, should be Stock Rods and their world final, which hopefully will be a little less lively.
Yeah, it did turn into a banger race, that one, it must be said. But the Stock Rods, let's see if they can redeem something from the evening then. Their heat races, it must be said earlier on, have been relatively good races. Had a few incidents and accidents, but it's been nothing too major at the moment. But we're just getting the last few cars ready to go. Then this will be the last race. This will be the last Stock Rod race of the evening. Then we've got Virgin Stock cars to round out the evening, then I'll probably come back after the third stock hours just to wrap things up. But I'm not sure how many laps we're doing here. But I think it was 40 last time I checked on the early version of the program. Whether that's been changed or not, I'll just check with one of the admins down here. But the stock rods certainly provided some great entertainment tonight, and just sort of goes to prove that sometimes the smaller cars can provide the better action. Just we have a bit of a pause in the action here. Like I say, got plenty more events to come up at the OSTA in our regular meetings. Of course, I've already gone through the action for the formulas running tonight, but we also have a few other formulas that run during the week. Got a couple of weeks away now. Wednesday, the 13th of May, we're going to be at Sheffield for the Brusque F2 Stock Car English Championship, 7 o'clock start time. 14th of May, Kings Lynn for the 2 litre National Saloon Stock Car British Championship, 7 o'clock. 15th of May, that's the Friday night, 9 o'clock start time. Brusque form on to their UK Open title. And then we have the big one for our 2 litre National Bangers at Northampton on the 18th of May, 8 o'clock for their Gold Roof race. Not a World Championship with us, the Bangers, as they aren't a permanent series, but just run every now and then as a little extra on a Saturday night. But just waiting for the final preparations to be done for the stock rods. I've just been told it's 30 laps for this one. I'll hopefully have a grid lineup sent to me over Discord in a moment's time for the stock rods, but I think we can predict. Well, I'm not sure how many points various drivers have got, but I'm sure we'll have a grid sent over very shortly. But like I say, going from the heat races, definitely Niall McFerrin, Matthew Drysdale and Cole McFall, definitely the three to watch in this one, as they've been very quick in the heats, and it's to be expected really, as they've been regular racers with us here in our stock rod formula racing at our 2 opening meetings of the season so far this year, one at Buxton and one at Birmingham. So up in the North and the Midlands, like I say, they'll start making their way down to the Speedweekend tracks a little bit later in the season. Just in the walk now, waiting just a few minutes for this one. But like I said, my 3 predictions: Niall McFerrin, McFall and Matthew Drysdale for this one. I'm sure the drivers will be out to try and prove me wrong as normal. That often happens. Okay, just getting. Yep, okay, got the all clear in the admin channel, so we are ready to go rolling with our stock rods. Apparently, it's now going to be a 33-minute race, not 30 laps. So that's just been corrected, and we'll be now ready to go then, hopefully with 30 laps rather than 33 minutes of stock rod racing. So I've just been told Niall McFerrin number 10 is the pole sitter, which is no big surprise with us. He took a win earlier on. I think he got second or third earlier on in the first heat. Okay, here we go then. World final time for the stock cross. Then they make their way into the race session itself then. So we're going to get underway then. Hopefully this race will be a little bit cleaner and a little less fraud than the previous race you've just seen on track. I'm sure the footage of that one will be deleted somewhere, I can tell you that. Yeah, it should be Niall McFerrin on pole position for this race, as that was to be expected, really. It was one of my predictions on the build-up to the meeting earlier on in the meeting, and of course on the build-up to the meeting as well over the past few weeks, when this idea was really being developed quite well. But before we go into it, I will just give a big thank you to all the admins at the OSCA who have made this happen. Like I say, Cam Lassie, Lewis Lassie, Gordon McDougall, Austin Newell as well in there. They've all played their roles in getting this event on the road and going. And of course, as a few of you will know that I've elected to stand down from my position as the OSCA, as part of the OSCA admin team now. But still good to see this event has really took off, and I think a little bit of disappointment from one of the admins here about how that race turned out, but there's not much you can really do about that once you let loose a pack of drivers in cars that a little bit unfamiliar with them. But this is the last Stockroad race of the night, the World Championship, with the last race following this, the European Championship for 30 stock cars, so we can get everything wrapped up and done before 10:30 this evening. Thankfully, one thing we don't have to worry about in virtual racing is the curfew times that are enforced on the venues, particularly here at Ipswich, because I know they're quite harsh around this venue. So we'll hopefully just try and get the cars into line properly here then. So it's Niall McFerrin and Cole McFall on row 1, so it's Northern Ireland row number 1 there, which is no big surprise. And then a third Northern Irishman there as well, in fact, of Curtis Greer, number 922. Mark Morrell in there as well in 5th in the 23 car. 65 Matthew Drysdale, 909 Adam Weir. They round out Group 1. We'll get the second group on track now then. So the stock was on to be in groups of 6. This is just to sort of stagger the start a little bit to avoid the various incidents and calamities that can happen on the opening lap of any big race. Then we've got 928 out there. Very quick starter in Heat 1, it must be said. Out there as well. That's my list now. James Morris, he was very quick in Heat 1 alongside his Matthew Micklin in the 997. Got 258 of 248. No, that is 258 Dan Shannon, and 176 of Gary Nichols. 944 also in line is Derek McMillan and Derek Martin as well. Siobhan Martin, racing and Derek Martin's name, in number 25. Stop myself from saying that just at the right time. 842, one of our late entries, Daniel Davidson, one of our last minute entries that came in this afternoon. Gary Lusher, number 46, out there as well in his machine. Still got no idea who that is there with the Boba 31 name. Unfortunately, I'm not sure who that is. D. McGill, number 263, and Chris Cardwell there as well, number 12. 61 Barry Casey. 27 is Gary Dean. We've got Carl Rhodes and the 917 of Rick Purdy to round out the grid for this one. So our stock rods return. To be 2 rolling laps as per the National Hot Rods as well. The pace cars will hopefully lead them around. Or the biggest stock rod, well, for our second biggest event of the night. And in fact, it's going to be 1 rolling lap, I apologise for this one. So 20 miles an hour is the rolling lap speed. And are we going to see Niall McFerrin take the title I predict he might take? Or will somebody else manage to find their way through to take the honours? We'll find out though over the next 30 laps, maybe 31 laps perhaps, of stock run action here at the Vauxhall Stadium. Pace car leads them round. It's going to pull off. Not, yep, there we go. Pace car pulls off from us then. And we go green. We're underway with the stock rods E-World final down towards turns 1 and 2. They go. Great start from the outside of Cole McFall, so he's having to come across the nose of Niall McFerrin there. Matthew Drysdale going sideways in the back of the pack. He's in the wall. So Drysdale, number 65, the first one to meet the wall in the world final. And Cole McFall has managed to get the jump on the start. Niall McFerrin, number 910 there in second. Big slide further behind that was Matthew Micklin in the 997, getting caught out there in the early exchanges. Side by side on the back straight there, coming through on the inside there. Looks to be Adam Weir, number 909 possibly there. Good bumper work going in there, a little bit of nudging going on, but McFerrin's been able to retake the lead out of my sight, so I apologise on that. So Niall McFerrin takes the lead, he's now leading by just under half a second. Mark Morrell is up there in third. Adam Weir is fourth. Well, was fourth as through goes Curtis Greer. And, well, he takes it back again. So those two switching places quite effectively for fourth place. Going to lap Gary Lusher and got a spinner turn forward as we lose Siobhan Marcy, number 25. Is the first spin. Carl Rose hits the wall again on turn 3. Seems to be doing that quite a bit in the heat race as well. Oh, Tangle turns 3 there. A couple of cars getting caught out there. And is that taking out one of our leaders, I wonder? Not sure. We've lost one of our leaders anyway, but Gary Nichols up to now to 5th place as we lost somebody in there. Gary Lusher now been lapped by your racers, so blue flag's been displayed. You can see who's where now as down the back straight. So go your race leaders. Trying to do your race leader there, having to avoid the rejoining car up there. Who was that who was rejoining? That was our Heat 1 winner, James Morris, number 928, rejoining the fray after he had a tangle coming off turn 4 by the looks of it. It's Carl McFall to the inside there on the back markers. It's the 27 of Gary Ding. Is a bit of a nudge there just to say, get out of the way, I'm on the leaders. That's now giving Carl McFall some clear track now to try and catch Niall McFerrin. Finish there, Carl Rhodes and Matthew Micklin getting involved there. A bit of a rubbing his racing down there. Bill Niall McFerrin, your race leader then. On a spin down here, not quite. Good recovery. So I thought we were going to lose the 917 car of Rick Purdy to the infield and go round backwards. He managed to regain control on the shale though and has rejoined the action. It's certainly a much cleaner race than what we saw for the hot rods. And he's certainly himself quite a good race this one. The leader has managed to break free now. To be fair, the top 3 have broken away as Mark Morrell has also got away as well, number 923 on this one. Curtis Greer and Gary Nichols round out the top 5. There's a 944 of Jake McMillan forcing his way through on the inside. Got a big slide there, someone's had to do a bit of a sum on the anchors there. That was James Morris again. In number 928, he's having a pretty bruising night after his winning Heat 1. Trying coming past the race control building though. And I think Carl McFall has now been, Carl McFall has now got Mark Morrell right his back bumper, so the battle for second place starting to come alive. That could be an interesting development as we enter the second half of this race for the stock rods. We're just coming on to lap number 13 now, so certainly this first half for now, but when we click over to lap number 15, we'll be in the second half of the race. Von Martin getting a bit of a nudge there. Who was that getting involved? So that was, he got a bit of a nudge there from Wilkin on the inside there, number 997. That's still the second place battle now. Cole McFall and Mark Morrell. Those two got caught up in that. They got a roll over down here, not quite. Got a tangle in the home straight. Oh, that's not good. Gary Lusher and Gary Dean have come to grief on the home straight. Cars going either side of them. If they can manage to get themselves going again. And through they go. So Gary Dean managed to regain control of his car in number 27 rather. Those two meeting the home straight fence to good effect. And Mark Morrell is still trying to find a way past Colin McFall now. Vauxhall Novas aren't the biggest cars in the world, but Colin McFall certainly making that one as wide as he possibly can. As Niall McFerrin keeps the lead for the time being then. Still got Derek McMillan behind him in 997. As Milken and who's that? I think there was somebody else in that battle as well, going side by side at turn 1. They're coming to lap Dean McGill in 263. If they need to get through that relatively successfully, not have any problems. Also in there is a bit of a fight between Cardwell in the number 12 car. Got a spinner behind. Who's that who's gone? Well, sure, it's Gary Lusher and Mark Morrell meet bumpers down here on the home straight. That's allowed Colbert Fall to break free in second. And our leader is still pulling away from this one. And it's Dean McGill has gone around just had a big crash in front of race control. Didn't see what it was though. Just had a big crash on the on my TV's audio system there. Looking good down the back straight there is 944 of Jake McMillan is going side by side as we now got a rejoining Dean McGill to reinstate to the action. Mark Morale gets a big sideways went there. He's actually just been taken back by Cole McFall as those two obviously switched places out of my sight. So I suspect Cole McFall maybe got involved in an accident that I didn't see. Now McFerrin racing, he's leading by 3 seconds now. He's leading by about the length of a straight clear now. As the second place battle just can't find the way through the lap traffic, unfortunately. So unfortunately, lap traffic's only playing its part in this, but that is oval racing, I guess, at the end of the day. It wouldn't be murder racing without them, and a big side there, and Comic 4 has been put sideways by Mark Morale. He's gone through. Morale takes over second place as Barry Casey manages to bounce back onto the circuit from the speedway track. He's okay to continue on racing. McFerrin still your race leader. Pretty dominant showing at the moment from this one. Nobody's got near him after the opening lap when Colbert Fall dropped back in 911. Big oops. There was a Scandinavian flick going on, and it's gone horribly wrong for Dean McGill there. He's hit a tyre and almost rolled it. Certainly, I think probably our cleanest stock race of the day in this one, I think, to be fair. One Cole McFall there in second still, and a big slide there. Mark Morale has gone as Chris Carver gets a black flag. He's gone. Guessing there was some little bit too much contact going on from him in this race. Ferrin still easy though. He's somewhere, I think he's on the back straight now. Can't see him on my screen. Yes, there he's coming off turn 4 now then. The gap has extended now to 5 seconds clear. He's really got there. He's coming up to lap. Dean McGill again. Car in the wall, turn 2. Is there, he's facing the wrong way. I think that could be the 27 car of Gary Dean again. He's been in the wars in this race. Now McFerrin still easy then, coming through then in the closing laps now. Only about 2 or 3 laps to go. McFall has managed to close the gap down to 4.5 seconds now, but it's too late. It's too little too late, I think, for McFall buying any problems. I've got another spin on the back straight there. I suspect that might be Dean McGill again. He's spent most of this race facing the wrong way, it must be said. There's James racing a fight with the fellow backmarking car there. The gap has gone back up now. One next time, please. One next time, Mr. Startup. But coming down the back straight, then down the home straight. Sorry, 1 to go now. For McFerrin, number 910. Carl Rose to the car on the wall at turn 2 then. It wasn't Gary Dean, I apologise for that, but he's the one in the wall there. You can see the tar marks where they've been throwing the cars in. But the checker flags await. They go up and they go down on a very sideways McFerrin to win the Stock Rod World Championship. And our fact, the E-World Final for the Stock Rods. McFall will be next. And amazingly, Morale will keep himself in 3rd place. Then we've got Sir Nichols, Shannon running out the top 5. So, well done to McFerrin there. He takes the win of actually what was a relatively tame race of the Stock Rods by the normal standards, it has to be said. So, yeah, he's not super. Yeah, there we go then. Niall McFerrin is not superstar in our domestic OSCA Stock Rods for nothing. And hopefully we'll get the results of this one for the Stock Rod World Final. So there we go. Niall McFerrin rounds out the race there with a drift to the centre green. So just letting the results update on the live stream, and then I'll give them to you. That's when they do appear, of course. And there we go then. So Niall McFerrin, your winner of that race in 1st place, number 10. 2nd, Cole McFall, 911. 3rd, Mark Morale, number 923. 4th, Gary Nichols, 176. 5th is Dan Shannon, number 258. Then we've got 6th place of Chris Greer in 92265. Matthew Drysdale is 7th. 8th is Adam Weir, 909. 9th is the 842 car of Daniel Davidson. And 10th is a car that I don't have a name for, but it's just down as 31 on my list. So go with that number. So results once again, just numbers 10, 911, 923, 176, 258, 922, 65, 909, 842, and 31. Next up then will be our last race of the night, and it is the 300 stock cars for their European title.
Thanks very much, Ben. Yes, stock cars will raceway for the European Championship at the final race of the night in a few moments' time. Hopefully get a grid through for you for that particular race, but certainly no doubt who's going to be on pole position. Josh Wells in treble one is certainly your man, having won 2 races so far and missed much of the action. Right, grid for this one. Treble one, Josh Wells, as we know, in pole position. Kane Parnell, I think, on the outside of that, subject to confirmation. Peter Greer in grid 3. Josh McKinstry in 515 in grid 4. Curtis in 137 on row 3 with Niall McFerrin. Can he land the double? Beyond that will be 788 Connor Hollingsworth, and then 319 in behind that Charlie Mail. Following that 517 Ben Sanders, and 107 behind, 167 I think that is behind that, which is Jimmy Morris. Trying to get the grid here off a pad which I think was written by a doctor, but getting the mainstream of that grid. So 111 and 129 will be up front for this final race of the night, which will be the Stock Car European Championship. That will be underway in a few moments from now. So congratulations to Niall for winning Stock Rod World, on from Derek's success in the National Hot Rods. And stock cars will be underway in a few moments' time. Echoing Ben's words earlier, huge thank you to everybody at the OSCA for the organisation of tonight's action, all behind the scenes that played their part. Obviously a few teething issues along the way. So things a bit tetchy in the stock car camps tonight. See whether or not this will go off without too many fireworks. I doubt it. That Gilmore, then European champion, of course.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Here we go then, stand by for the action. Peter Greer made eye-catching progress from well down the grid last time out. He's well up there. It could be one to watch, but I think could be survival of the fittest here. 30 laps of the Vauxhall Stadium. And away. Laps underway then for the Stock Car European Championship of 2020, the E version. Some of the crowd there look like rigor mortis has set in. Right, final preparations taking place then with Josh Wells down on that front row. He came through the carnage from the back to win Heat 2, fair to say from the right at the front of the grid, but running very, very well indeed. Clark Wells, of course, in 7-11, not far down the grid. Actually won a couple of races at the Genuine Speed Weekend last year. A lively weekend of 1300cc stock car racing. Here comes Kane Parnell then, who will be alongside of Josh in the 129 car. Josh McKinstry in 515 pick up the second row. And then following that, Niall McFerrin and Curtis Tebenham will be on row 3. So much action in the previous race, several drivers that have been out and involved in the action coming in the early stages back. Charlie Mao is on row 4 alongside 788 Connor Hollingsworth. There they are. Ben Sanders in 517 and Jimmy Morris in 167. Behind that, despite a few issues tonight, Jack is there in 146, so every chance in this European Championship final alongside world champion Lee Pearce in 23. Behind those, 713 in Beaumont is next. And Clark Wells in 711. Ricky Ivett may have been there and behind in 55. Following that, Connor Sheldrake in 535. The very junior Paul Alwood next in 46. Jacob Bromley in 303. Just a quick check on the trees, they've still not been cut, and I think that means we're just about ready to go then. 30 lap then, Stock Car European Championship of 2020 about to get underway. Can anybody stop Josh Wells from the front? Kane Parnell alongside Peter Greer. Those are the top 3 on the grid as we head out on rolling laps for this European Championship and the final event of the evening. Pace car heads them down into that Ken Cam's Bend then for the final action. Where's your money? We are set to go and we're racing. Stock Car European Championship then underway. All important first couple of bends as they get stuck in down towards the scoreboard bend, and a couple have gone by the wayside there. Josh Wells was trying to hold on. They head down into turn 3 then. And up front, Wells still leads from Parnell, Peter Greer, so not a lot of change despite the early shenanigans. Tebenham still there in 4th as the knocks and bangs at the end of the home straight this time as a couple go straight on in, but the Armco allows them to bounce around, and Josh Wells still has the lead. Coming through then, Peter Greer still there in 2nd place now with Kane Parnell in 3rd. Niall McFerrin looking for this unique double. There's carnage away to our right at the Ken Cam's end as several go knocked around. I think Jimmy Morris was making good early progress in 167. He's up to 5th. So Wells goes through them with the lead. Can anybody stop him? A group for that 2nd place. McFerrin, Parnell and Peter Greer. Jimmy Morris is best of the rest. Knocks here on the entrance to the home straight as a couple go round. Tommy back out there in 51. The Gardner makes progress then after early skirmishes. Zach Gilmore then is still out there, the current European champion. Major problems on the entrance to the home straight as they go in all directions. Josh Wells is still clear and has slipped the field. Looks suspiciously like one of the Aylwards may be involved at turn 4 there. Either that or Lee Pearce. It was those colours. And we'll gradually rejoin. It's Pearcey, I think, in 23. Clark Wells getting mixed up as well as the leader goes through. Josh Wells then and Peter Greer. Zach Gilmore is there, but I think he's a lap down. Away to our right, all we can hear is the sounds of stock cars crashing and bumper work on overdrive as we go towards lap number 6. So back up front then. I think Gilmore may well have unlapped himself. Mayo is still going in 319. And we've had a change on lead, have we? Peter Greer has come through, so Peter Greer has taken it up. Charlie Mao in second, so we've lost in all of that. Josh in treble 1 in amongst the carnage down on turn 4. So Peter Greer leads, Charlie Mao. Josh McIntosh is McKinstry rather in 515 third, then Niall McFerrin in car number 10. Curtis Tebenham getting back into contention, 137 Red Machine. There's Josh Wells in treble 1, who's still in the race but has lost all sorts of ground. This one car goes right across the centre green, then totally out of control. The scoreboard end of the circuit, I don't think managed to make contact with the intended party, but Peter Greer, who impressed in the previous race, leads the European Championship from Charlie Mail in second in the 319 car. Josh McKinstry is at third, and then Niall McFerrin, Curtis is fifth. So we head through on lap number 12. Peter Greer then leads in 921, who did race in the latter stages at the old Wimbledon Stadium and mix it up with the best of the Speedworth, and is doing that here. Charlie Mao in second. So they're all slowing here on the entrance to the home straight as they get hooked up. Charlie Mao at the head of that group. Several involved as they head round that scoreboard bend. So all of a sudden up front, Charlie Mao's gone through. Peter Greer is trying to battle on, the battle for the lead on turn 3 as they come round, as a couple of cars go flying in. Up the home straight, Greer's back in front. There's Mail, and they're side by side, and Mail has gone on again as they pass the scoreboard. So Charlie Mail leads then from Peter Greer. Still in third place at this moment in time is McKinstry in third, McFerrin still in fourth, and Tebenham fifth. And again, he's top 4 or 5 are a long way clear then. So Mail still leads from Greer as we get towards the business end. And the second half of the contest well and truly on. So here we come up the home straight again, and Mail still leads there. There's the second place man, Ian Greer. Behind that is still Josh in the 515 car. So Mail has the lead then and goes through once more. Here on the home straight, has about a 5-length lead as they come up the home straight and leads the way. Can anybody get to him now? Peter Greer is still there in second place, despite all the carnage that's happening around the Vauxhall Bowl in this European Championship of 2020. So Mal leading the way then. We've got a change on second as Greer has lost. So Josh McKinstry is now second. McFerrin is third. What a night he's having. Charlie Mal still clear, just in amongst a couple of back markers as he heads round the Ken Camps bend. Here he comes, managing to avoid those and has got away from them. Ian Beaumont was certainly one of them. And closing fast. Behind those is Josh McKinstry as they head into the final part now. Lap 20 underway, and Mail in car 60 and has seen them off to this point. There he goes then. Heading round the scoreboard bend, back markers between him and the second and third place drivers as more fun and games develop on turn 3, just in front of the leader, who's going to have to tread carefully here around the turn as he does so. So through he goes. Seeing the back marking Jimmy Morris. Now there's the battle for second, McKinstry and McFerrin. Tebenham is behind those in fourth, but a little way behind them. So Mail is clear. Charlie Mail then leading the European Championship as we go towards the final part. There goes Mal, back marking Jimmy Morris. Is between him and the rest of the chasing pack as they head down the far side then. The European Championship, is it going to Charlie Mao in the 319 car as they head round turns 3 and 4 once again? And not easy in amongst the back markers. Charlie goes to the inside. There's Greer, who's now a lap down. McFerrin and McIntosh as they go round that scoreboard bend once again. Lap 24. Niall McFerrin is now the nearest pursuer, looking in pursuit of a second big win here, as there's absolute mayhem ahead of the leaders as they go through. Tebenham's trying to make ground. So Tebenham has gone through. The whole lot were held up there, and Curtis Tebenham goes through, but now is passed again by Josh McKinstry as they go down the far side. Charlie Mao is back in as well, and it's all happening in the Stock Car European Championship as they come round and up towards us once again. The final stage is underway, and it's now car 515, Josh McKinstry, that leads the way from Niall McFerrin. It's all changed. Kane Parnell is back in third. Charlie Mao down to fourth, and Curtis Tebenham, who led a lap ago, is now back in fifth. Jimmy Morris has put the brakes on here on the home straight. Who's he waiting for? Tommy likewise. The leaders coming through, and there's all sorts of fun and games around the raceway as we head into the final 4 laps then, and it is Josh that still leads, and is down the back straight clear. So Josh has the advantage. Can Niall McFerrin get past to land the double as he goes through? Josh goes past McFerrin and Kane Parnell, Curtis Tebenham and Charlie Mao. They've all been in the mix throughout. We're down to the final 3 laps, 30-lap European Championship, and it's a change. Josh McKinstry still in front as more back markers loom ahead in the form of the Airwood. As the leaders go through then. There's the leader. The scoreboard, back markers loom ahead, and he's going to have to tread carefully on these final 2 laps as Niall McFerrin comes through to challenge, and all of a sudden it's game on up front as we come around the Ken Cam's bend, and it's McFerrin that goes through, having just won the previous encounter, and it's all changed as McFerrin. Kane Parnell second as Josh has now missed out back in third as we head towards the final lap then, and it's McFerrin that's gone on down into turn 3 from Kane Parnell, and Josh McIntosh is in behind those. They come off the final turn, back markers in the way. It's going to be the run to the line. This could go any way, and as they come up to boards, it's McFerrin that's going to take it in car number 10. Josh McKinstry managed to get back for second. Tebenham in the end up for third, and Kane Parnell behind those. So McFerrin is going to be the one that takes it. There's more carnage away to our right as they come through and complete. McFerrin is sideways here from Josh McIntosh. They may well still be racing with 2 extra laps with those warm-up laps, and it's Niall. It was the case. Niall McFerrin has won the World Championship, and in that, and a dramatic stock car race as well for the European Championship. All sorts going on in the final stages. Back markers again, Ben, playing their part.
Definitely in that one. That was certainly one of the races that have been affected most by the back markers. But we'll get the results to you for the last time tonight, and then I'll think about wrapping things up this evening. But certainly, I think a few of the races have certainly been a bit fraught tonight, with a little bit more contact than perhaps we would have liked in the hot rods on a couple of occasions, and maybe a few slightly over the top hits in the saloon race there. But certainly not too bad. We'll get the final results for you up here, and then I'll sign things off tonight here at OSCA. But the results then. So double championship tonight for Niall McFerrin, number 10. Second, 515, Josh McKinstry. And third, 137, Curtis Tebenham. Fourth, 129, Kane Parnell. Fifth, 303, Jacob Bromley. Sixth, NI 921 of Peter Greer. Then seventh is 788. Then it's going to be 711, Clark Wells. Jimmy Morris, 167 is ninth, and Ricky Ivett rounds out the top 10 in 10th in the 55 car. So I'm doing the numbers for you: 10, 515, 137, 129, 303, 921, 788, 711, 167, and 55. But that is as far as we take it this evening here at Vauxhall. And I'm not sure whether Graham's got any final things he wants to say on this one, but
no, thanks very much, Ben. Good fun. Enjoyed it and enjoyed throughout the. Yes, good stuff. A double champion Interesting. Shame about the destructive National Hot Rod World, but that, I guess, is racing. But no, good fun, and thanks very much for your part.
Yep, so that's as far as take this evening here at Foxhall. Thanks so much for attendance and watching this evening's race action here at the OSCA. And what's left to be said is thanks so much to all the involvement behind the scenes with our admins and, of course, our live streamer from Foster today. And also Tom Davison, who has been providing us the picture for us, the commentators, to see the action to provide the commentary tonight. But on behalf of all of us here at the OSCA, from myself and Graham Woodward, thanks so much, gents, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye. Involvement behind the scenes with our admins, of course.